All right, good evening and welcome to the Hanson Select Board meeting of April 28th, 2026. This meeting is being recorded by Whitman Hanson Community Access Television. Please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. Mr. Gill, may I prevail upon you for public announcements and upcoming meetings?
There we go. I will do both. We are looking for citizens at large to become members of the following committees. The Bylaw Committee is a 3-year term with 3 openings available out of 5. The Cable and Internet Committee is also a 3-year term with 3 openings available out of 5. The Capital Improvement Committee is a 3-year term with 1 opening available out of 5. The Energy Committee is annual with 2 openings available out of 5. The Historical Commission is a 3-year term with 2 openings available out of 5. The Memorial Day and Patriotic Observance Committee is an annual term with 3 openings available out of 5. The Economic Development Committee is also an annual term with 1 opening available out of 5. The High Street Committee is an annual term with 1 open available out of 5. And the Zoning Board of Appeals is a 3-year term with 1 associate member. Volunteer applications may be found at the town website, which is www.hanson-gov or by calling the Select Board's office at 781-293-2131. The Hanson Highway Building Committee will be holding an informational public meeting at the Hanson Middle School, April 30th, 2026 at 6 p.m. All Hanson residents are invited to attend and encouraged to attend. In preparation for the town meeting and election votes, the library is offering a forum about the library building project on Saturday, May 2nd at 11 a.m. A reminder from the Treasurer Collector's Office that Town of Hanson fourth quarter fiscal year 2026 real estate and property taxes are due May 1st, 2026. Payments can be sent by mail or Dropbox at the Town Hall or online via Unipay at www.hanson-mass.gov. In the upcoming meetings, there's a special and annual town meeting May 4th, 2026 at the Hanson Middle School, 111 Liberty Street at 6:30 p.m. Babysitting is available from 6:15 to 10 p.m. for children from kindergarten through 12 years old. And then there's a select board meeting on May 12th, 2026. And the town election is May 16th, 2026. Thank you.
Well done, sir. Okay, first up, new business is discuss and consider alternate plumbing and gas inspector, Michael Latorno. Ms. Green.
Yes, Madam Chair and Vice Chair, members of the board. So our plumbing and gas inspector, Scott Bizzazzaro, retired. Thomas Leary has been appointed as our new plumbing and gas inspector, and Mr. Letourneau has applied to be the alternate.
And what's his experience?
Oh, good question. Let's see. He is a plumbing foreman for Harold Brothers. So he's currently working as a plumber for a company, and he will be an alternate in case our main plumbing and gas inspector is not available.
And did our interim building commissioners interview him? And
I am not sure if they interviewed him because he was prior to them coming on. So I gather he has been on as an alternate, but the board is now looking to appoint him as a permanent alternate.
okay. And did we want to have our interim building commissioners just kick the tires on that and
We can sure do that, yes.
Yeah, I just think rather than perhaps, making an appointment, I think might be a good idea for us to just have double check on that one.
Okay.
Is he a master or a journeyman?
Let's
don't see that. That's a good question. It just says licensed plumber, so I would tend to think, I hate to say it, but people do kind of wear the master designation on their chest, so I'm assuming probably a journeyman. which is, you know, necessary, but that would be great if we could, that'll be another good question. Okay.
Did you
When is
say,
the-
oh, sorry.
No.
I was gonna say, did you say that we have experience with him so far? He's been our alternate?
He has been, yes, and,
Has he-
Since when?
I don't know when he came on board. I've just found this out.
And so we don't know if he's
We don't
done
know
any
anything
work
about
for
it
us
yet.
or anything, okay.
Exactly.
Okay, so, yeah, let's just kick the tires a little bit more
Okay.
on that, I think that would be a good idea.
Do we currently have an inspector?
Yeah, we have an inspector, this would be our
This is
alternate.
the alternate.
So,
Oh,
yep,
okay.
Yep.
Did he say that he was an alternate? Like, where did we get that information from?
Yeah.
From the building department.
Okay, I'm just curious, because on his resume, it might make sense for him to put on here that he was doing it, so that we
No,
have
no,
some reference.
no, he hasn't done it, he's applying for the job, but I don't think he's.
Oh, I thought you said that he has done it in the
He's
past.
Very, just for, like, very temporarily for us, like the last couple of weeks before we got to the appointment.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, that's helpful.
Yes,
Okay.
I know, it was a little bit unclear there. Okay, all right.
Okay, sounds good.
So, as per usual, I have
Lost your-
reorganized myself out and
Yeah, would
lost
you
my,
like to see an
I don't know
agenda?
how I do it every time.
I know you
Okay, great, and that brings us to discuss and vote interim building commissioner David Monroe. Mrs. Green.
Yes, so we have a need for interim building commissioner, while our present commissioner is out of the office. Mr. Moore is retired, from the building commission, profession. He has worked in, our neighboring towns, he's worked in Bridgewater, he has worked closely with our town planner, Mr. Tony DeFrayis, knows him very well. And what I've seen, of him in action, he's very knowledgeable. I highly recommend that we, appoint him as one of our interim building commissioners. He's already shown his dedication to making sure the operation continues to move forward.
Okay, then I will entertain, and what is the effective date, Ms. Green?
The effective date would be, actually April, let's see, I'm sorry.
It's a little retro.
It's a little bit retro, so I'm gonna say, April, 13th.
Okay, I will entertain a motion to appoint interim building commissioner David Moore, effective April 13th, 2026.
So moved.
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Fantastic. And then that brings us to discuss and vote interim building commissioner Robert Piccirilli, who I'm sure I just killed his name, but I tried, Robert. Okay, Ms. Green.
Again, Mr. Piccirilli is, like a certified building commissioner. He is recommended to me through the Carver Building Commissioner. And he is presently not working at another town, but is interviewing, but we're lucky to have him on board. That would be effective April 20th, so that he could fill in as, Mr. Moore is not interested in working full-time. So the two of them together, can, alternate schedules to make sure that there's full coverage in the office. And there have been performing inspections, and again, keeping the operations of the office running, temporarily.
Well, I mean, well done finding people for a very difficult position to find people for, and finding people that are able to work harmoniously together. And we appreciate them stepping up. So, I will, entertain a motion to appoint, Robert Piccirilli as the interim building commissioner effective April 20th, 2026.
So moved.
Second.
Any further discussion? Okay, all in favor? Amazing. Okay, that brings us to VSO Memorial Day events update. And I'm not sure quite who, Ms. Green, was Mr. O'Keefe gonna be with us?
No,
He
there's
was-
a letter there, but I believe
Oh.
Mr. Beauvais is here in his
Yes.
stead.
Oh, okay, Mr. Beauvais, okay, great. Thank you for joining us, and thank you for being on our patriotic, and Memorial Observance Committee. We are, you guys are actually getting traction there and supporting our VSO, which we appreciate, because for years, you know, whoever's been in that position has sort of been on their own. with, you know, like well-intentioned volunteers on the sidelines, but, you know, no committee really. Well, thank you for joining us. Did you want to give us a brief update, or of,
I could quickly run down.
that would be awesome, yep,
I would refer you to the letter
Yep.
that Terrence O'Keefe submitted,
yes,
which is pretty detailed. For my part, I've been working on the town hall aspect. The three of us have divided up the parade. Marcus Lynn is running the Indian Head site. I'm running the town hall site. Terrence is overseeing, and Marcus is also working in conjunction with the Congregational Church AD people who will handle Fern Hill.
okay, great,
So
yep,
there will be 3 programs, one at Indian Head, one here at Town Hall, and then one up on the hill. And it'll be a traditional, Memorial Day parade with a lot of elements in it. And then afterwards, we're trying to organize a get-together event at one of the area facilities. We're talking with the AA, trying to get folks to step up and help out with that.
And my understanding is that you're going to reconstitute some of the events that may have fallen by the wayside in the last couple of iterations. And it's gonna be more the traditional full ceremony up at Indian Head, full ceremony at Town Hall, and then our beloved ceremony at the
We are going to
cemetery.
have the widows, we're gonna have the widows, right?
We have a slot in the parade for
Okay.
the widows.
Because
That's
that's,
very important.
that is non-negotiable with Ann and me,
We
okay?
love the widows.
We love the widows. We feel a kinship with the widows.
Yes, we do.
Yes,
So,
Yep.
Terrence has got the parade, the stacking order of the parade.
yep,
And we're gonna get together again later on this week. So we're actively involved in planning it.
that's great.
In terms of, I understand that at the town hall, sound support has been a problem in the past.
Yes, it has, yep,
I have some gear that I'm gonna contribute, this year. I have the town's wireless microphones, one of which is in need of repair. I'm gonna lean on a friend to help me, see if I can get that repaired. You might wanna consider, in the future, replacing those microphones that are old. I can make a recommendation for that.
yeah, that would be great, and, it would be super helpful if your committee sent an email to, Ms. Green, or even proposed a warrant article, for those. I don't think we use them for anything else, as far as I'm aware. Think about that, but, thank you so much for stepping up, and, I'm glad to see that committee revitalized. So, did anybody have any questions?
No, thank you very much for doing this.
No?
And thank him for the letter, it seems
Yeah,
very thorough.
yeah,
Very
okay,
detailed.
that's
Can I
great.
say one last thing?
Yeah, please.
I'm very happy with the notion that there is a joint office between Hanson and Hanover. And if in fact the administrative position is hired, is created and hired.
Yep.
I think that will provide the right complement, where there'll be coverage for vacation and coverage for the sort of detail work that's necessary for a VSO to do.
Well, we appreciate that feedback. I'm hoping that it does pass at town meeting. We all are, because we want to get Terrence that support that, you know, he needs. And that was sort of our thought process. But it's good feedback from somebody who's been dealing with him on a, regular basis. So that's great. Thank you for that.
Thank you.
And thank you for being on the committee, and thank you for your service.
Yes. Okay, now, let's see. I have to put my captions on for
6:30.
15
We got
minutes.
15 minutes.
Because we have the dangerous dog hearing, but that's not until 6:30. So what can we, let's do the liquor licenses, shall we?
All right.
I will entertain a motion to approve the May 9th, vendor fair, the June 28th bridal shower, and the August 23rd birthday. I will entertain that motion.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And similarly, I will entertain a motion to approve the March 20th, 2026 minutes.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I will entertain a motion to approve the April 7th, 2026 minutes.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Great. All right, and then I think briefly, we, as you will all recall, we, have recently completed Ms. Green's review. Overall, the board's, consensus was that she was doing a, good job, more than competent, and that she had had a number of successes in the last year since we last did her review, which she had outlined for us, not the least of which was, managing to, prepare and get ready for the, very difficult vote last year, which was for the MBTA community, and really, was gonna leave a lot of money on the table if we weren't able to, pass that. Recruiting and hiring and retaining good employees, working on the budget, and many other, achievements. So, did anybody have anything else that they really wanted to add about that? Okay,
Seconded.
okay,
Yes, I think that
All right.
Liz is doing a great job.
okay, all right, until next year, and next year I wanna get it done on time. We always, the date just keeps like sliding into this like 1 month, 2 month abyss, it drives me bananas. Okay, I'm not, again, I'm not calling people out, you guys keep self-selecting when I say stuff like this, I'm like intentionally not saying who. All right, let's see, how many more, I've got 15 minutes, okay.
Should we do the transfers? Can we do this?
Let's do,
Transfer requests?
sure, yeah. So in your packet, you've got the, discuss and vote line item transfers. Ms. Green, did you wanna, cue that up for us?
Yes, so actually, our town accountant is here, they can go over, the line item transfers.
Well, that's wonderful. Thank you for joining us,
Yeah,
Mr.
no,
Kinshirf.
thank
It's
you.
always a pleasure to see you.
That's why we have him here.
Yep,
So, basically, right now we have a $612,000 snow and ice deficit. And there's an article at the special town meeting to fund it with free cash, but we don't have enough free cash to fund the whole thing. So the law allows, the select board and the finance committee, if they concur, to do line item transfers between line items.
Yep.
So what I'd like you to consider and vote on is there's some lines in the budget that we can use and put it towards the snow and ice deficit. There's a total of $362,000 that we can transfer from money in our FY26 budget to put it towards the snow and ice deficit. And the amounts are, $91,000 is coming from appropriation for a generator. The town didn't need that money because it used grant money, ARPA money for that. $200,000 is coming from the group health insurance line item. We usually have a good turn back, which helps contribute to our free cash, but we need the money, so we'll have extra money in that at the end of the year, so we have enough $200,000 to transfer out of that line item. There's $21,000 in veterans benefits that we can transfer over. Right now, there's a $36,000 left in the budget, and we're only giving away about $800 a month in benefits for the next 2 months, so there'll be plenty of money for that.
so just to be clear, we're not shorting anybody.
No,
It's-
not at all.
okay,
Everybody's
okay,
being
all right,
paid. Said
okay,
The town appropriated more money than what's being awarded.
okay, all right.
That's basically that. And then the last item is, we're gonna transfer $50,000 from the reserve fund. Right now, there's $103,000 in it. I'm gonna transfer $50,000 towards the snow and ice deficit. That'll still leave $53,000 in that fund for the rest of the year. So the bottom line is, would like to take money from those line items and fund the snow and ice deficit.
Which we have to cover by law.
Correct.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so did anybody have any questions for Mr. Kinshirf?
I trust him, appreciate it.
Yeah, that was incredibly thorough and very agile and very creative, and we appreciate that, because, we're up against defense here. So I will.
Couch cushions again.
Yep, exactly, shaking the couch cushions. I will entertain a motion to make the line item transfers of, $91,000 from, generator, $200,000 from group health insurance, $21,000 from veterans benefits, and $50,000 from reserve funds as printed in the information before us.
So moved.
Second.
And that is to be, allocated to the highway snow operation. All in favor? Great. All right, great. Let's see, what have we are really chugging along and, burning through this agenda. Let's see. What else can we do? Anybody have any burning committee updates that they would like to give? Anybody at all? No? Okay.
I'm very happy to see that the highway thing is on Thursday. I thought it was on another Wednesday, so I can come.
No, it's, yeah, Thursday at
That's awesome.
6:30.
Okay,
And,
I'll be
and I
there.
hope we,
Instead of me.
I hope we get people there, you know,
Yes.
it's, you know, it's not the most attractive subject, like, hey, you wanna come hear about dilapidated highway buildings
But it's so
on a free night?
necessary.
It is
This one
necessary.
is necessary.
It is necessary, and there's some good information, so I hope if people are on the fence, or they're not sure, or even if they're a no, go, or even if they're a yes, go and hear, you know, the process, go hear the hard work that has been done to get us to the point at which that, is being,
Right.
proposed.
We can do our
Okay,
schedule.
yeah, we could definitely do the schedule. Okay, in your packets, we've got a list of proposed meeting dates, and various other little, deadlines and what have you. Did anybody have any concerns with, any of the dates as it stands? Knowing that we all have lives and things come up and, you know, we can address that if that happens.
What are the highlighted ones, Bo?
The highlighted ones are, which ones?
On the
6,
second
9,
page, the
6
519 and the
Yeah.
69, 623?
There's a whole, there's
Till the
several that are
19th instead
highlighted.
of the 12th of May.
Yeah, Miss,
What are they highlighted?
what was the,
Yes, so, when we look, based on when the town election is, which is May 16, May 19 is an added meeting.
Thank
So
you,
that the
right.
board, so that the board can meet and reorganize right after the election.
Gotcha.
Otherwise, the next meeting date was not until June 9th.
okay, all right.
okay.
So we added the 19th, so
Oh, I
the board.
was so looking at that gap thinking, isn't that nice? We have all that time off.
So we added that date to make sure that, you know, reorganization happens and then, you know, things can move forward. Then after that, we have June 9th, which actually was only listed as a wage and personnel meeting, but we did add the select board meeting, and then June 23rd. Now, if the board determines that it doesn't wanna have 2 meetings in June, completely up to the board, but we thought we would add at least another meeting to allow the board the opportunity to decide if they wanted to have 1 or 2 meetings in June.
Can it be
Okay.
on if needed?
Yes, we can definitely do as needed, and I think, you know, once we get into, you know, once we get past all of this, we'll see what kind of meat there is on the bone, and if we don't need to meet, then for Pete's sake, let's
Yeah.
not meet, because we've been hitting it hard.
And are we gonna reorganize the wage and personnel on the 19th as well?
Yes, good
Because
point.
that would make sense, right?
Yes, yes.
Yes.
Well, it's required,
Yeah.
yeah.
So this is, just out of order on the proposed one, but that's okay.
And, most importantly, are we meeting on your birthday again?
No,
Okay,
it doesn't
all right.
matter, that's not a 0 on this
Okay,
birthday.
all right, I know, that was the big birthday. We do appreciate everybody taking one for the team on that one. Okay, all right, then I will entertain a motion to approve the 2026, and I guess we're just doing 2026, and then when will we look at the 2027 calendar?
We'll probably have that just after, the new fiscal year.
Okay, all right, I will entertain a motion to approve the, remainder of 2026 Select Board calendar meeting.
So moved.
Second.
All right, all in favor?
Right.
All right, I got 5 more minutes.
can't
Ms.
do
Green,
it.
how long of a town administrator report did you have?
Not very long.
Do you think you could do it in 5 minutes or less?
Oh, I definitely.
All right, great.
Okay, so, as the board knows, we have town meeting on Monday, so my office has been very busy, preparing the materials, which includes the annual town meeting warrant, the special town meeting warrant, which were posted. We are now, the informational warrant is in its final stages, waiting for the final proof, so that is, at the printers, waiting for us to give them the okay. Town report is finalized and, in print, so we're waiting on that. Building department is in good hands with the 2 interim building commissioners that the board appointed tonight. They are doing a great job keeping the operations running and keeping inspections up, in the department. So I wanted to thank them again for their good work and dedication that they're showing to the town. Pratt Place culvert replacement, the bids, were received and opened April 22nd. The bids are in the hands of our consultant, who is doing a review. They're doing reference checks. They had some questions that they asked all the bidders. They've got 3 responses back, they're still waiting for 3. Once they get those questions, they will provide me with a recommendation, on the most responsible bidder. So we're waiting on that.
And we have a deadline on that, don't we?
Well, the work has to be completed by December 31.
Okay.
But in the bid, they were looking for the construction to be completed by September. But, you know, if they have to push it out into October, has to be done by the 31st. We do have a live vacancy posting for full-time disposal area attendant. And interested parties can submit an application, by Friday, May 15. It's on our website. It is on our Facebook page. We are working to get it on Indeed, and there's information in Town Hall for anybody that's, interested.
And is that full-time or part-time?
That's a full-time position,
Okay.
because there's currently 1 employee over there, so this is another full-time position. Just a reminder, building department is closed on Fridays until further notice. Public records portal, is operational up on our website, so people can submit public records requests through that portal. It is making the process very efficient because it gives us a, date that our responses is due. We can also, communicate with the requester through the portal, provide an invoice, and provide records through that portal. So it's very efficient, and I'd like to thank our IT director for implementing that software.
That's amazing. Now, if people don't request it, via the portal, are we still gonna input it via the portal so that we've got one collective place that we're,
No, if people don't submit it to the portal, and they submit it through email or whatever, we're communicating that same way.
Okay.
I don't know, I can check with our IT director if we have a way to submit it. I can certainly check on that.
even if there was a way to scan and attach the file, just so there's like one common repository for this, and it's not fractured fairy tales all over the place.
Yeah, I can certainly
Okay.
check and see. But under the law, we still need to be able to make sure I mean, people
Sure.
can still submit
Yep.
them by email and
Yep.
vocal. Veteran Service Officer, as you heard tonight, been hard at work with, coordinating the, Memorial Day event, so, we are looking forward to see the rest of the plans on that. He's also planning an outreach session for veterans, will take place on May 13, 9 to 2, up at Camp Kawani. He is gonna be posting information on the social media pages in the next couple of days, and it will be on the website. So that we're looking forward to that. Our town accountant has been working very diligently with our auditors on the FY 25 audit. All is going well. We are meeting the deadlines, what they're asking for on a timely basis. The audits are necessary, as we do have some articles that will require borrowing, so audits are a requirement for that, so we are working to diligently complete those. And finally, again, highway building, the project forum on Thursday, April 30th, again, 6 p.m., and we're really encouraging residents to attend to receive information on the highway building project. And that completes my 5-minute town administrator report for tonight.
Awesome.
Good job. That was great.
That is perfect. That is like right,
Well done.
that left us 1 minute. Okay, so, Kate, please feel free to sit. Yeah.
Oh, that's not
Yeah.
Kate.
Oh, I'm sorry. This is why I should wear my glasses. I'm sorry.
Although she does look like Kate.
So, okay, Aaron, sorry about that. Okay, so, we are posted at 6:30 to have a dangerous or nuisance dog hearing in accordance with Massachusetts General Law 140, Section 157. And, we did send a letter to, I'm just trying to find the address of the individual.
283.
Thank you. 283 Birch Bark Drive. And do we have the owner of the, dog here? No, okay, okay. All right, but nevertheless, we are going to have a hearing, I was contacted, regarding this matter by Mary Ann Bray, and it was just before the long weekend, which it's still always strange to me to think of Patriots' Day as a long weekend, but whatever. So it was just prior to that, there were some incidents, purported incidents the week before, there were 2 calls to the police, and also our animal control officer was involved. So I think, I need a motion to, open the hearing.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, great. So with that, I think probably the best thing to do would be, may I have you, tell me what the police have on their record? And then I would like to hear from our animal control officer, Joe. I thought I saw you, but I lost you in the audience.
He's there.
Joe Kenny. And then we'll hear from, folks, that were directly impacted. Does that sound okay? All right, great. Sure, yep, yeah. Thank you. Good evening.
Lieutenant Daly from the Hanson Police Department. So I was advised about this last week from Chief Casey, who couldn't be here tonight. We were advised of a dog bite in Birch Park from 283, the Madiosis residents. We received 2 calls from Birch Park, and I think the first was April 4th, and the other one was the 13th. 4th and the 13th.
Yep.
And there were also 2 other dates that were, the residents had brought up to the chief via email.
I think, excuse me, I think it's the 5th.
I'm sorry,
And-
5th
yep,
and the 13th?
Yep.
On the 5th and the 13th, we were called out there, and there were reports generated from those incidents. Other than that, we have just received the hearing request, and we haven't really even got to the chance to speak with animal control, but we
Okay.
called animal control those 2 incidents.
Well, fortunately, I have.
Yes.
Joe and I have been fast friends in discussing
Yep,
this.
I bet.
All right, thank
Okay,
you very
thank
much,
you.
Lieutenant Daly. Mr. Kenny, did you want to join us?
Yeah.
And tell us how you first learned of the incident, what you've done in terms of contacting the owners, and I think the last time we spoke, I asked if you could take a snapshot and see whether there's been any effort at complying with restraining the dog, and so that's where
Yes.
we're at, okay.
All right, so Joe Kenny, Animal Control. So I got the first call, it was 2 separate incidences. So the one on the 5th, it was Easter. I got a call out, and that was for a dog bite. I did not report out to it, right? It was Easter, I was with my family. And I touched base after the incident. The police had said that they had taken a report and they had the information, so we had everything we needed, and I touched base after the incidents. The owner of the dog informed me that the dog was an 8-month-old Belgian Malinois. For anyone that's not familiar with the breed, it's a shepherd-type looking dog. They're used in a lot of like police work, military work, and they do other kind of service dog work. It's a working breed. It was only 8 months old, and they said that it hadn't happened before. I hadn't had any calls with the dog in the past, and they had informed me that it had gotten out to the fence. They assured me that it wouldn't happen again, and that's kind of where we left it. It was a dog bite. We also informed the animal inspector in the town, and I believe she was out to do quarantine on the dog. Following that, on the 14th, we received a second call, and this was a dog bite on a human. I believe the police were out there again, and this one was on a bite again. Contacted the owner, and I was told that the dog again had gotten out through the fence or under the fence. and that she didn't know what was going on. Since then, they had attached the dog to a lead in the backyard, to ensure that it doesn't happen. My concern with this is that, one, it's a neighborhood that has a lot of foot traffic, there's a lot of people walking around.
Yeah.
The dog is only 8 months old, and not to take that as in, it's a puppy, right? And puppies are a little bit more mouthy in general, but at 8 months old, it is getting loose, and it's caused enough of an issue in a short period of time. I think it's worthy of doing this and hearing out what neighbors have to say. They do have 4 dogs on the property. 3 of the dogs are currently registered. This one was not registered, but it hadn't been in the town for more than 6 months, so it's not required to by law. All the dogs were up to date on vaccines, and they do seem to be very well cared for. There is a 6-foot fence in the backyard, that surrounds the property, like the back of the property. It's a chain link fence. I was not able to make contact to go out and like inspect the backyard, but I have been over there, and there is definitely a fence, it's a 6-foot chain link fence, and that is the fence that I believe the dog was in, or we were told that the dog got out from underneath in both cases. I haven't had any calls since the last call on the 14th, and that's about really all I have of
Okay.
contact with them.
Did anybody have any questions for Mr. Kenny before we have
I just
folks come up?
wanna say, not in defense, I'm defending the dog. The dog's a puppy. And
Yeah.
it's not, obviously not being properly trained, and it's a working animal. That dog is smart, and it needs something to do
Yeah,
besides
so-
chewing its way out from underneath the fence.
Yeah, so as someone that does have a working breed dog, right? They're typically, the breed is a high energy
Right.
dog. It's a very, very high energy
Yes.
dog. And they have a lot of drive. It's breed history, it would have been a herding type dog. So they are naturally very mouthy, right?
They are
If
mouthy,
you
especially
read-
when they're puppies.
Yeah,
they're
if you read
brats.
like a breed description, it's a mouthy dog,
Yep.
right? Which doesn't mean that they're biting people, but it means they're gonna use their mouth to like inspect stuff, right? So, more mouthy than say something like, I don't know, like a beagle, right? They're gonna put their mouth on things because that's how they control sheep. So their idea of controlling a situation is to use their mouth to do that. And I think training is a big thing with these dogs, training and getting out energy.
Attention.
Which is a big part about these dogs. If they're not trained and if they're not worked, that energy can be put into destructive things, like getting through fences and crawling over fences and,
I was gonna say, they can
jumping them. Yeah.
climb chain link fences.
yeah, yep.
Did you ask them why they had them, what possessed them to buy or get a Mally?
So I
That's not,
didn't,
a Mally is not a dog
yeah,
that,
so
most
I-
normal people don't get a Mally as a pet. It's usually
Yeah, so-
somebody that is a professional dog handler
I-
gets that.
They do have an extensive past with, shepherd type dogs.
What's their other breeds?
So they have shepherds.
Oh, they do?
Yeah, so they're all
So now they got one on
shepherd family.
steroids.
So.
That's what they
They're all
got.
in the shepherd family of dogs. So they do have a long history of having shepherds. They had, and this was brought to my attention, I wasn't animal control at the time, but there was, I think, an issue back about 8 years ago, with dogs getting loose. Like I said, I don't have much to say on that because I wasn't around, so, but I haven't had too much in history with them recently, so the dogs have been contained pretty well.
They're not here tonight? They weren't coming?
No.
I asked if the owner was here, and they're not here. They were given the notice to,
Of course they were.
to come.
Well,
Mr. Hill?
Do we know how the dog got out? Did it go over or dig underneath? Or?
So it was told me that it got under the fence, which wouldn't surprise me. and there was some damage to the fence or something along those lines, and they did repair the area, from what I was told, and they said that they had put a runner out there, so it was tethered, instead of running free in the backyard.
That's just gonna make the dog even worse. That dog,
So,
Yeah, that,
you don't tie that dog up, that's the crazy, them dogs are like, they gotta do something. It's not a pet,
it's
it's too bad.
a high-energy breed.
I know what it is.
I get it.
I know what a
High
Mallee- I can
yeah.
tell you all about
I have
Mallees. I've been around
I have
them.
high-energy breeds as well, and I get that they can be difficult.
They are difficult,
Yeah,
they're not a pet.
yeah, it's a working
not.
breed, right?
They're not a
So it's
pet.
a dog with a job, so.
Okay, so,
they-
did anybody have any other questions for Mr. Kenny?
Yeah, what do you got, what's the,
Well,
what's
we need to
the
hear
outcome?
from, we need to hear
we need to hear
from,
from the people.
from the folks in the neighborhood.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, so, some impact statements. All
If
right.
you need anything else, I'm
But
here.
stick around, Mr. Kenny.
I'm sure there'll be more questions.
Yes. Yep, if you can come up and just state your name and your address, for the record, that would be awesome, thank you.
Good evening, my name is Greg Swan, I live at 286 Birch Park Drive. I live directly across the street from the residence in question. April 5th, I was woken up, it was Easter morning, about 7 a.m., and I heard some yelling and screaming from the street. Went to the window, and my neighbor, Mr. Pavitas, was out there walking his beagle, and this particular animal was attacking, was going after this dog, and Nate was yelling and screaming, asking the neighbors to come out and pull the dog back and say, somebody get your dog, somebody please get your dog. It was going after the beagle. I got dressed, ran down, I took the beagle away from Nate so he could, Mr. Pavitas, so he could handle the dog. He eventually got a hold of the dog and returned it to the property. It then promptly got right back out again, and they had to return him a second time.
So nobody responded?
No, they did,
Oh.
and they put him in the house, and he ran right out the back door and came right back out
Okay.
again. This whole event took about 10-15 minutes on Easter morning. Luckily, nobody was hurt. I think the beagle was nipped, and I think at that time, Mr. Pavitas made a phone call to the police and made a report. The next morning, I walk my dog every morning between 5 and 6 a.m. The next morning, the dog then got loose again and approached me and my dog. I did not report this incident. I just wanted to put it behind me. The dog approached my 7-year-old husky mutt. With all due respect, it wasn't mouthy. It was an attack. They went at it, and then eventually the owners ran out, grabbed the dog, and brought him back inside, and that was the last I saw of it. Those were 2 incidents that I had physically witnessed. I was there with it. I had to kick the dog away at one point because it was coming at me.
Oh.
It was not, if it was being mouthy, that's not safe.
No.
Especially with the number of young children we have in that particular neighborhood.
Yep.
Yes,
And not to mention, you know, even though whether it bit the other dogs or not, it can traumatize other dogs to the point where then they become reactive, where they otherwise weren't, you know, because of that traumatizing, you know, thing. So I'm sorry that that happened to you.
It's fine. So just to, what you had mentioned before about 8 years ago, that I was one of the parties with the dogs being affected from the house. The dogs weren't supervised, they were just let loose. If you don't wanna talk about that.
No, it's, like, I know Mr. Kenny kind of opened the door a little bit there, but the rules for the hearing
Just
are.
to stay on this one?
Yeah,
That's fine.
we're having the hearing about this one particular
Okay. No,
dog.
that's fine.
So I hope you can appreciate.
Yeah, no, I
that.
understand
Yeah,
completely.
okay.
So now my concern is every morning when I walk the dog is I have to keep my eyes on that residence to make sure the dog isn't getting loose. There's a lot of dogs in these neighborhoods, and there are particular dogs that, you know, they're well maintained, they're well kept and well maintained. I can think of 2 or 3 dogs that my dog doesn't particularly like, and I see them walking down the street and I turn and walk the other way.
Yeah.
And they do the same thing, and we try to
Yeah.
keep as much distance as possible. That's not the case with this particular animal. I kind of feel bad for the animal. It's not being, you know, it's just being let loose and nobody's really paying attention to it, in my opinion. So,
Okay, I mean, I know the hearing is really for the dog, but it really is for it's the owners, right? Because the dogs can't control that. Okay, well, thank you very much for that. Yes, please, yep. And if you can just state your name and your address and,
Hi, Hi, my name is Mary Ann Bray. I live at 247 Birch Bark Drive. Thank you, Laura, for your quick response and everybody being here. I really appreciate it. So I will tell my story that I shared with Laura. The day before Greg reported his incident was Saturday, April 4th. I have a golden retriever. And the golden retriever, I live 2 doors down from this house, and I have a golden retriever who was jumping up on the window and making a lot of noise. I honestly thought it was a coyote, this dog, because I hadn't seen it. The way the dog was running, and it was running in the street, that I was like, oh boy, it's a coyote. We gotta, like, this is crazy. And then we saw the dog running back and forth. And then all of a sudden we were looking, because my dog kept making noise. And then we saw the Pavidis' child, Logan, running on a bike, or just going on a bike, who's a 9-year-old boy. And all of a sudden we're like, uh-oh. And we like looked out the window, and here's the neighbors with the dog, and he was as far as possible away from the dog. The dog ran to Logan, and he approached the child, and we kind of saw that he jumped up, and then very smartly, the boy turned around and started to ride his bike back, but all of a sudden I started to see the dog chase Logan, and I just took off and ran out the door. And I ran out the door because I was terrified, and I thought with every fiber of my being that that dog was gonna bite him. And because he was just running after him, and it did not, I don't know everything about dogs, but it did not look like it was trying to play with him. It looked like it was gonna try to attack him. So I ran out and screamed at the top of my lungs. I don't know really what I said, but I said something like, stop, leave him alone. And both of them, like the dog and Logan, both looked at me. Luckily the dogs like stopped, and I had no plan for what if the dog was gonna chase me. But all of a sudden, the dog looked and stopped and went the other way, thank God. So, and then I did tell Nate Pavidis, like, I was not yelling at your child. I was really, really certain that that dog was gonna attack him, and I did not want that. And luckily, the dog did not. But I will say that I have 2 children, 10 and 12, and we have a golden. They do not feel safe riding their bike. They have friends in the neighborhood, they want to ride their bike around the neighborhood. It was April vacation last week. I was telling Laura, they did not ride their bikes. They did not really want to go outside. My daughter runs, she does not want to feel, I just feel like it's kind of a neighborhood right that we should feel safe in the neighborhood. And I also feel like, and I know you'll probably hear from Brian, what happened to Brian should have been prevented. And I thank Joe for calling him and telling him what happened, but that should never have happened to him and his dog. So, and that trauma that he had experienced. But all of us in the neighborhood have to experience that going forward and dealing with that. So thank you.
Sorry that happened, and I might add, it broke my heart when you told me that the kids couldn't do anything during April vacation, but can I just say, you guys are an awesome neighborhood. Everybody's like rescuing each other, and, you know, I'm not sure my neighbors would do the same thing. I love them, but I'm just not sure. I don't want to find out, but I mean, you know, but it sounds like you've got a really great neighborhood there.
We want people to utilize it, and thank
Yeah.
you. And I feel like when you do go by that house and I walk my dog, those dogs do not sound friendly. It's very alarming when you're going by it. It also feels like, God help us, if those dogs get out, they're going to eat me, you know, so,
Oh, boy.
so, thank you.
All right, thank you. Was there any, yes, please, Mr. Simonelli, good to see you. Sorry it's under these circumstances.
Thank you, you know my name.
Yeah.
Brian Simonelli with 344 Birch Bark. I was not attacked by this dog. I was ambushed. This thing came up behind me, and I have an 8-pound Maltese. And I have a little carriage that we use to push it, you know. Don't judge me on that. But, but it can only go a couple hundred feet, and it needs to get back in. And it just happened to be on the ground on the leash. And this dog came up behind me, didn't bark, didn't make any noise. I just saw it quickly out of the corner of my eye, and it ran around the carriage and grabbed it right by the nape of the neck. And my wife had just left to travel with...
She went to see your daughter in South Korea, right?
You're good on Facebook.
Well, I'm friends with Maria on Facebook, that's why I know.
Yeah. So the last thing she told me when I dropped her off at the airport was, take care of my dog. Don't let anything happen to my dog. So I see this dog grab my my dog by the nape of the neck, and I looked down, and I knew the dog was already dead. I'm like, how am I gonna,
Oh, my
what am I
God.
gonna do? So I literally got on the ground, and I grabbed the dog's mouth, and I opened it up, and I pulled it open, and my dog got out. I was surprised it was still alive, and it ran behind me. I still had it on the leash on my arm, and that dog just still wanted to go at it. It bit my hand, it bit my arm, and it bit my leg. And I'm kicking it, and I'm screaming the whole time, let go of my dog, let go of my dog. And finally, somebody came out of the house. There was a young man about 20 or 25 years old that grabbed the dog, and he's like screaming at me. He goes, are you okay, you okay? All I could say was, get that effing dog out of here. Just go. Just get it out of here, because it still wanted to attack. It was up on its hind legs, still trying to come at us. And if he let go of it again, I don't know what would have happened. All I know is that if it wasn't me, if it was my wife, I'd have a dead dog and a really injured wife, if not dead at this point. So,
Your
I
dog
mean,
did not die.
it did not die, no, but it was bit, and I had to take it to the
Emergency ER.
yeah, to the vets, and it was all caught up on its shots. So, but they gave it antibiotics for the wound, and the ambulance came up to my house because I called the police like 10 minutes later, and they were really nice. The ambulance showed up, the fire department showed up, the police showed up. I told them what happened, and they wanted to take me to the ambulance, but it was just literally 4 weeks ago. I was in the ambulance for the first time in my life. I fell at work. I broke 8 ribs, and so now I'm rolling on the ground, getting this dog out, my dog out of this dog's mouth, and it was traumatizing.
It really sounds that way.
And my dog's not been the same since.
No.
It really
No,
isn't.
of course not.
And like I said, if that guy didn't show up, I don't know what I would have done. Where was that guy that next door? Where were you when I needed you? I guess you weren't dressed, but I know they contacted the animal control, and I never did because the police said they did and the fire department said they did. But again, I wish they were more proactive with this, because this dog, and now my dog, she used to walk around the block all the time. And I have other neighbors that have right here now, and I'm sure they may speak, but they had issues too with, you cannot walk by that house. You cannot walk by that house safely at all.
Yeah,
Where's the dog now?
it's still there.
It's at the house?
Yeah.
No, yeah, I guess so.
That's why we're having the hearing.
Yeah, I don't know where it is.
The
but
guy hasn't like put it up for adoption or something?
I do not have a gun permit, but if I did, I would have used it.
Oh, okay.
I'm telling you right now.
Just go like this, guys, okay? There's 2 police in the
Well,
audience, just, okay.
whatever, it would have been
Yep.
self-defense, I'm
Okay.
telling you, but
Yeah.
it was a very scary situation, it really was.
That
And
sounds horrific. It really does. It sounds like really, your dog and you were terrorized in your own little neighborhood.
It was, and
Yeah.
we've walked, again, I've lived there 41 years
Yeah.
in Birchbach Drive, and I've never been attacked again. And again, the greatest neighbors in the world, you can all speak to that. We all know each other, and it was really just a very shameful thing that, it shouldn't happen. It just shouldn't happen. So now my wife, who loves going around the block, she doesn't go, she goes up the hill now and down the hill and then back up again. We do not walk by that house. And again, just like everybody said, nobody does anymore. And the poor kids can't do it. We must have 25 or 30 dogs in that neighborhood, and they're all very friendly, they're all nice, every one of them are, except for, this one batch. It's it's scary. I didn't know there were 4 there, but I know this one, and I thought it was a German Shepherd. I don't know my dog breeds that well, but it was a big, it had to be 70, 80 pounds, and it
Oh,
was
wow.
really
Okay.
healthy. It was a
Yeah.
very healthy dog, and it was just not stopping. And, that's just not right. I mean,
No.
that doesn't belong here. It's, you hear these stories in other towns and other cities where they get mauled, kids get mauled, but it shouldn't happen here. It really shouldn't, but,
Is the owner a police officer or any type of security guy or anything like that? The owner, is he like a police officer or something?
I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, they don't know.
It's Funaki.
The only people that really have them dogs are law enforcement.
I
Them are
understand
not
that,
good
but, I
pets.
mean, the owner of the house is one of the original owners.
Yeah.
You know, that moved in '87, I believe. And, you know, again, and, you know, he's old. I think his wife passed away, and now the kids live in the house, and this is one of the grandkids that own all these dogs.
Oh, wow.
And they're not taking care of them. I mean.
There's
like I
no
said,
bad dogs, just bad owners.
Yeah, whatever. They just don't belong there. If you tell me they're police dogs.
They
and,
are,
you know,
absolutely, 100%.
You know, and they're supposed to be trained that
100%.
way. I mean, you know, these dogs are weapons.
Oh,
They
yeah.
really are. And,
They're not pets. Them Malleys are not pets.
Yeah.
In any form or fashion.
I know.
Unless you're a professional dog trainer.
I got an 8-pound Maltese that would
Yeah.
attack your ankle, but, you know, it's
Too bad.
It really wouldn't. It's the most pleasant dog in the world. Its bark is worse than its bite, but, it's, just a pleasant dog, and now it's traumatized. It doesn't even want to go out anymore, you know? It's
Too
like,
bad for the dog.
you know, one of those things, but, anyways,
All right, well, thank you for coming. Sorry that happened to you. We're gonna
no worries.
listen
Just
from the rest of the folks, and then we're gonna try to see what we can do to.
give us your help. That's
To
all we
help
ask.
out, yep.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. Did you want to, yep. If you wanna just come up and tell us your name and your address?
I'm Kelly Pavitas. I live on 221 Birch Park Drive.
Oh, yeah, it has to
My
go.
son is
Can't have
Logan
it.
Pavitas, and he was the one on the bike
Yeah.
that was saved, protected by Mary Ann, and it really did scare him. He actually has really bad anxiety that we deal with, and it just really ramped it up.
Yeah.
But then on Easter, you know, we are an Easter Bunny family, the kids are ready. My husband walked the dog so we could have a nice morning. And I'm looking for my husband, I don't know where he is, and all of a sudden, my front door opens and Nessie, our beagle, walked in alone because my neighbor had to get her in her car to bring her home because she was being attacked. And then about 20 minutes later, my husband came home really upset and scared because it was an unprovoked attack. You know, literally, it was probably 6:30 in the morning on Easter walking. Nessie was petrified, she wouldn't let us put her down. And so then, instead of opening Easter baskets with our kids, my husband was out talking to the police. And then we didn't reach out the way we should have. We thought the police was enough, so then it happened again the next day with our neighbor. And we just felt so bad because we didn't know the protocol. That was our stupidity, our ignorance. But it definitely, we walk our dog twice a day, and we are very nervous. I think every day my husband calls me, he like tracks the dog with the collar and is like, are you going near that house? Like, make sure you're okay. Because it is scary. So that's all I just wanted to say, but.
All right,
yeah.
thank you. We're sorry
for
that
what you went
happened to
through.
Logan.
Good evening, I'm Rich Stewart, I live at 318 Birch Bark Drive. You know, fortunately for me, I haven't had a direct interaction with the dog, but I just wanted to kind of, you know, explain some of the things that have been going on, you know, in our family since these incidents have happened, and how it's affecting, you know, our kids, the neighborhood, and, you know, we just, you know, it's such a great neighborhood for the kids. You know, ever since they've been, you know, little tiny kids, they, you know, back and forth to each other's houses. You know, they're all friends with each other. They ride their bikes around the neighborhood. That has all stopped. It has all stopped. And it's, you know, like, I haven't seen the dog out since all this stuff happened. You know, and I know that, you know, this hearing is about one particular dog, but I do feel very strongly that it is also about the owner. And, you know, they have 4 dogs in that house. I don't know. They do not walk the dogs. I've never seen them walking those dogs, ever.
Wow.
So you talk about a high energy, working police attack dog, right, who is cooped up. Of course, it is going to try to get loose at every chance that it can, right? And, you know, there's you know, there's now been 4 incidents with this dog. I know we're not supposed to go back in time, but we've had incidents with the other dogs getting out from that same property. And the owners have failed to address that adequately. To the point where, you know, you had the dog go after, you know, 3 times, go after somebody, and then it took Mr. Simonelli getting attacked before, you know, something was finally done. And, you know, I feel very strongly that it is just a matter of time before that dog gets out again. And I'm not willing to gamble my children's safety on when that is going to happen. So now, we're not allowing them to go to their friends' houses, right? Like, we're all calling each other, you know, are you home? Okay, all right, I'll drive the kids over. Or, you know, we're saying, hey, you know, cut through the woods, cut through the neighbor's yard to go around that house. No, you cannot ride your bike around the neighborhood. You know, and that's the way it's gonna stay for me. Like, unless that dog is removed from the property, that's the way it's gonna stay for me. I'm not gonna personally be comfortable with any type of promise from this owner that they're gonna do a better job containing that dog, because they haven't. You know,
I
and it's,
understand. I really
it's
do
gone on for
yeah.
a long time.
All right, well, thank you, Mr. Stewart.
Thank you.
Did anybody else have anything that they wanted to add? Yes, please.
Tim Leonard, 383 Birchback Drive. I'm just gonna be a minute, second. Just an insight into this dog. It said it's high energy. You say it's a working dog and you need something to do all the time. 30 years, I've been there 35 years almost. And these people have been there the whole time. And they've always had these shepherd type dogs. I have never seen them walking any of these dogs around, taking them out, doing anything with them. And the fenced-in enclosure that they're in is really just a pool enclosure. So most of it is pool, and then they just have like an apron area around the pool. It's not much of an existence for them. You know, and whenever we go by, and it's been years, you can hear the dogs banging at the windows, banging at the doors. Am I right? Yeah, it's. My wife's afraid to walk around. You know, whenever we go down the show, so you take the leash. You know, so that's just the way it's been. And it's been a long time. Their way of taking care of a dog is not going to change.
All right, well, that's good insight. Thank you very much. All right, did anybody else have anything else that they wanted to add? Okay, so we are at the fork in the road, ladies and gentlemen.
Well,
Decisions.
So,
Just
yes.
one last thing.
Yep.
You know, and I know people have busy schedules and stuff, but I think that the owner is not here tonight, I think is, you know, very telling.
And I would agree with you.
Very much so.
Yep, I would agree with you.
Who knows why?
And we don't know why, but, our office didn't get any response, like, oh, I can't make it, can you reschedule? Nothing of that sort, so, here we are, and we're just gonna move forward. But they were given their, you know, day in court, so to speak. Well, not court, but you know what I mean. Okay, so the first threshold issue is this a dangerous dog, or is it a nuisance dog, or is it a dangerous dog?
I think that's a given.
I'm prepared to say that it's a dangerous dog.
Okay,
And
I
I think,
agree.
you know, like, we can't have people in the neighborhood being afraid to go
You have the
outside.
whole neighborhood terrorized.
We have folks that, nobody here, I don't think anyways, I can only speak for myself, but based off previous, no one here is anti-dog. We all actually have a soft spot for animals of all kinds and dogs, and the people that are making these complaints also have dogs. You can't have people in a neighborhood feeling like they cannot go outside and being fearful for their own safety and their animal safety. So I would say it's a dangerous dog. Can I back up 1 second though and go to, Officer Kenny, if you could just tell us what, according to this, you have to make a recommendation for what you think needs to be done. And I was reading it, and coincidentally, the recommendation came today, so you don't have a lot of time to kind of do this, but what is your recommendation for this? Because that's the first hurdle that I'm reading on page number 1. says the animal control officer shall submit a written report of his findings.
Animal control.
There was one done.
So in
Yeah, I know. Yeah,
my
it was today, though.
opinion, I'm usually pretty conservative with these. I've done a handful of them with you guys. I think this one, in my opinion, I'd lean toward it being a dangerous dog. I think that at its age, it's young enough that it may have a chance of being changed, and with significant work and training, it could come out of that. It could be a great dog. But right now, without having that stuff and being so young that it's already causing this, it's a liability in the neighborhood. I think people should, like I said, I'm a dog owner and I love dogs, right? I have a dog that I would be scared if it was loose, right? But if you have a dog that's like that, you need to take responsibility and make sure it's not going to get loose, right? I just don't see that in this case. The fact that an incident happened and then a short time later we had another incident, makes me nervous that this could happen.
Well, and we also have somebody who hasn't shown up tonight.
Yeah, and that, right, but, I feel for people, right? I'm here to, in the end of the day, right, like I work with animals, but I'm here to protect the people of the town
Right.
just as well. And I think in a case like this, the dog is potentially dangerous to people in the neighborhood. I think the breed specifically has more capabilities than most dogs of getting loose. I'm not normally one to say something about a breed, but I think that breed has a lot of energy and the ability to make itself get out of an enclosure. So I think in these cases, I usually recommend like walking on a 6-foot leash, that kind of stuff, muzzle. So my typical recommendation is gonna be, at minimum, do a requirement of muzzling the dog when it's, off property, walking the dog on a 6-foot leash. There's options on your list. I
Mr.
also
Kenny,
encourage.
may I just interrupt you for a
Yeah.
moment? It seems to me as though they're not aware of when this dog is going to get out. So unless they
Yeah,
keep a
so
muzzle on
I-
it 24 hours a
yeah.
day, and they're not walking it, so that
So,
doesn't seem to apply.
I get it. Fortunately, I don't have to make the decision here.
Yeah.
So with the way that these hearings work, you guys have a list of specifics you can pick from.
We do, and
Right.
so let's
Yeah.
run through the list, shall we? So chained or tethered, which they're saying that they're doing that. I personally would, if I were living in the neighborhood, that would give me absolutely no comfort whatsoever.
Yeah.
Because I don't know if they're gonna be
Right.
consistent, I don't know if they're committed to this, I don't know if they've even acknowledged or owned that their dog is a problem. We have no way of knowing that because they're not here. So that's one option. Then the second is, confined to the premises of the dog, confined means kept in a locked pen or dog run, again. You could argue
Yeah.
that, okay, and then, removed from the premises, or provide proof of insurance. Well, I mean, not for anything, but I don't really want proof of insurance. I want proof that the dog's not gonna attack me if I'm living
Yeah.
in the neighborhood, which I don't know how anybody's gonna be able to provide that. And then it looks like the fifth one, is sort of like some kind of a microchip tracking. Again, do we wanna track a dog attacking people? Is that what we're here to do? I mean, euthanize, that's a serious step to me, and it's one that I would really grapple with. But removing the dog from the property I feel is the right
Yes,
move.
I do too.
I feel if we don't,
That
can we
dog
do
has to go.
multiple of these?
Yeah, you
So
can do one or
because
more.
the-
It says one or more.
Yeah,
Because
You can choose
if
multiple
that
options.
dog stays on the property.
Right, but
it
you
needs
putting a
to be
muzzle
insured.
on it, are you telling
I
it
think
has to be
that
on a 6-foot
the
leash?
insurance company-
All you're doing is putting a Band-Aid
Yeah,
on it.
so
That
my-
dog is gonna bite again.
My typical minimum, if we find a dog to be a dangerous dog, I would say at minimum, I usually recommend at least the 6-foot leash, a muzzle once off property, and confinement, to an enclosure with a cement bottom. I think that makes it so they can't dig out, they can, an enclosed usually is a top on the cage as well. It's a typical, like, how you would keep a police dog, right? How you would keep a dog that's.
Right, but a police
like
dog is a trained dog.
I think in a neighborhood.
I think that dog needs to go.
You guys
George, let me-
can that would be my minimum.
Your minimum.
Yeah.
Yeah, but what
and
is your
that's-
actual recommendation?
What's
There's,
your-
like,
I-
there's a paragraph that says you have to make a recommendation,
So
and
my,
I
my,
take that seriously.
my typical recommendation in a case like this would be removal of the dog.
I agree with that.
And I agree with that.
don't necessarily find that the dog is safely confined.
Does
That's fair.
anybody disagree with that on the board?
No, no, I think that that's the
No.
way to go.
We all agree with that. All right, so then, did anybody want
No.
any other?
Can I ask a question? Yeah. We make this order, how is this enforced?
Yes, so, that's my other thing, so most of the time if it's removed, it's euthanasia. So that's why I'm hesitant to say that, but it's up to you guys to decide, so.
Can we give him the option to donate the dog to like a
Right.
professional dog
Right.
trainer?
Yeah, like, or
I can't say that, right? So if you guys write it on a piece of paper.
Or back to
that
the
is
breeder.
what it is,
Yeah, but
right?
the problem is that those dogs, when they go into a police training or, law enforcement, those dogs are selected.
And they're
not- it's
they're
not
8
just-
weeks old too.
Exactly. I mean, this poor thing is already 8, 9 months old, and he has not been socialized, he has not been trained.
But we don't know,
He's a
maybe the
mess.
breeder will take him back. A
I
lot of
hope
times
the
there's
breeder-
contracts
yes,
with the breeders
yes, I
that
would
like, if
hope that
things
the
don't
breeder
work
would
out,
take
you
him
have to
back.
give him back.
I mean, I don't want the dog killed for its
yeah.
owner's stupidity, but at the same time, the dog can't live in that neighborhood.
I think there's,
Terrorizing a whole neighborhood is ridiculous.
there's plenty of dog pros.
Can they?
Just around here that would take that
I
dog.
think so.
I could name 3 of
Well,
them
the
right now.
canine guy over
that
in
would-
Hanover, is that who
He'd
you're
take
thinking?
it.
Okay.
So
yeah.
Guy over in
is one of
Holbrook
these
would take
options,
it. A
is
lot
one of these
people would take
options
that
a
dog.
way that we can remove the dog, and not have it euthanized? Walk me through that,
I'd
because this is
have
the first time I'm doing
I'd have
this.
to read through it again, under my understanding is no.
Well, where would you
Okay.
remove it to?
That's
Yeah,
the thing.
well, so the problem is you're finding this dog to be a danger, right? This is a 2-step process, so you have to find it to be a nuisance or find it to be a dangerous dog, right? Once that's done, that's a marked animal, right? So that animal is determined to be that, no matter where it is in the state of
Yeah, we read it.
Massachusetts.
Oh, we read it.
So if it moves to
We saw it.
Holbrook, or it moves to, I don't know, Brockton, or it moves to
Right.
Hanover, or Duxbury,
That could be a
right?
liability
That-
back to us.
Travels with that dog.
Yeah.
Right.
If it gets rehomed, it travels with that dog.
Gotcha.
So now that dog is already deemed
Dangerous.
dangerous.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where this comes in, and I don't know that removal without euthanasia is really
think that-
an
yeah.
option in this case. I think I don't have the law in front of
No,
me
it's
for the
fine.
actual
We've got it,
wording.
we've
we've
got
got
it.
it.
Yeah,
We have it.
if
Even
you
if it
raise the
went-
wording on
Even
it.
if it went to a pro? When I'm talking a pro, I'm talking a guy.
I don't, you'd have to read the law.
Right.
I don't have it in front of me
Right.
No,
to
it's
speak
fair.
on it, and I
That's
don't
fair.
wanna misspeak on it. I think it's typically, if you don't do other options, then removal entails euthanasia.
Look, I mean, we are all dog lovers. I mean, I
Yeah.
can't even emphasize this enough. Like, the thought of some poor animal having to be put down because the owners are irresponsible is heartbreaking to me. But I have to balance that with the fact that we've got a responsibility to the people that live in that neighborhood. And it appears as though we've got owners who either are incapable or unwilling to do the right thing to have this dog live harmoniously in that neighborhood. And I do believe that if earlier intervention had been had and aggressive training and all of that stuff, that we wouldn't even be here talking about this. But we can't make people do the right thing. And so we're tasked with what do we do with the
Well,
dog?
that's back to my
Okay,
question,
can
too.
I make-
If we make this, is he going to be, who does it? The police?
Can I make one comment?
Yes.
Why doesn't somebody call the Malley Rescue? Somebody will come and take that dog. They have a Malinois rescue, they have a rescue for every breed
I
out
bet
there.
you they don't want a vicious dog.
They're all vicious. If you come and get a Mallee, you're getting a mean dog. It just comes with the territory.
Okay.
None of them are friendly.
The one that, it's like the worst of like, what's the best of the worst? I'm seeing, what if we said they can keep it? They have to insure it. The insurance company is not gonna just come and say, oh yeah, sure, here, we'll insure you for $100,000.
Well, it falls under their homeowners then.
The insurance company is gonna deal with the people and say whenever, not when it's out on a leash, but when it is out of the house, it needs a muzzle.
All right, I'm gonna just play bad cop here
I
on
know.
this. How are we gonna find out if they've gotten the insurance? How are we gonna make sure they keep it? And it's cold comfort to the people
There's
in the
no
neighborhood that the
insurance
damn dog is insured,
There's no
but it's still
insurance
gonna be
company
able to
that's
bite
gonna
them.
insure, give
I
you
agree with you
homeowners
100%.
insurance with that dog on the property. No homeowner is
So
gonna,
just let
they
us
probably don't
deliberate
even have
for a while.
homeowners insurance.
You
You can't
I'm
get
not saying it's the
homeowners
right-
insurance with a
bite
Mallee.
insurance, I have bite insurance on my dogs. So if your dog.
Because you're
You
not the
worked at-
poster
I
child
get
talking
it,
about
but I'm
here.
saying
Yeah.
you can require people to get insurance on
I
that.
actually
Well,
have
what if
a
they-
friend
what
who
if they
lost
don't
her
get
insurance because she had a
And you can
Rottweiler.
lose, and like you said, so that doesn't mean that your house won't drop you. I can't,
Right, exactly.
can't speak on that.
Exactly.
So, some house insurances will drop people just for having a dangerous dog
That's what,
registered.
and she wasn't even, no,
I-
that dog wasn't
yeah.
even dangerous,
All right,
just the
we've-
fact that she was a
We've got
Rottie.
to try to come to a decision
I
here.
think the
That's what
dog
I'm
has to
thinking,
go.
that will make the homeowner make the right
I
decision.
believe the dog has to go.
I can't live with that dog staying in that
Dog has
neighborhood.
to go.
I
I'm
don't
gonna
want
make
it
a
on my
motion that
conscience.
I agree.
deemed a dangerous dog,
Yeah.
and then we just start there, because
Okay,
that's
thank
the
you.
reality.
Do I have a
That's where
second
we're
to
at.
the dangerous dog?
Second.
Okay,
Yeah.
all in favor of
Aye.
dangerous dog? Not that we're in favor of the dangerous
No,
dog,
this
but
is,
of
it's
the
heartbreaking to even
classification
have
of
to
the
even
dangerous
do
dog.
this. It's heartbreaking for the town, it's
Yes,
heartbreaking for
it's
the animal, and this
awful
is
for the
like, it's
neighborhood.
tragic,
Okay.
this is absolutely tragic.
Now, as to the remedy,
I move that we have the dog removed from town.
So, second.
Yeah,
any further discussion?
I mean, if we can put a little caveat in there that basically just says,
Yes.
Can I
all right, I'll
make a
finish
statement?
after.
I am not here for.
We know.
No, we know that. Then this is our town council, just so people don't think she's a random person sitting in the audience.
So I have a little tickle in my brain, and I was not prepared to come to a danger. I didn't know this was gonna be on the agenda, so
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I would have been more research. But I think banishment may have recently been prohibited by the new changes to the, animal control laws.
And I think that's why Joe's saying it has to be euthanized.
So.
Because you can't
Oh,
move your
okay.
problem to
Yes.
another
Well,
town
that
and
makes
make it their
sense.
problem.
That's exactly what
Yeah,
I'm
That
thinking.
makes
So-
sense.
Yeah.
And, I was trying to just like quickly do it on my phone, which is like really inappropriate, right? But I'm pretty confident.
We've got the regulations in front of us, and it specifically says, no order shall be issued directing that a dog deemed dangerous shall be removed from the town or city in which the dog which the dog
Well,
resides.
what
So
I
in
said-
other words, you can't ship your problem.
I
onto,
move
you
that
know.
what am I supposed to say? I move that the dog be euthanized?
That's that's.
You can say, I move that the
Yeah.
dog be removed from the house, and then
Unfortunately, that's the reason for my little soapbox
Right,
you ran.
yeah.
I'm heartbroken that I even have to say it,
Right.
but we are saying this,
Yes,
and that
we
is
are.
unfortunate,
We
and
are.
it is terrible.
we have to acknowledge the truth of what's gonna happen.
What if they voluntarily
No.
get that dog out of there and make it disappear and go
Well, we'd
like-
love to know if they were willing to do that, but they
So-
didn't show up for the hearing,
so-
David. We have to deal with
I
what
know.
we've got
So the
here.
only thing that I was in the middle of saying, and I appreciate that, is there a way that we can put in the order that we try to make an attempt to get it to a rescue?
Who's gonna
Can we,
make that attempt?
that's the reason for the question, I have no idea, us.
They'd have to do that.
Officer
homeowner
Kenny,
would
the
have to.
homeowner, literally anybody that's
Can't say
just.
no, we can't.
No, it's just a, well,
I'm not sure.
Well, yeah, I'd like to
what you
ask-
need to do, if like that's the intention, you need to do like an alternative motion just in case it's not.
You'd have to put very tight timelines on this.
Lisa has
Because
a
it could languish for months where they're saying, oh, we're working, we can't get anybody.
no, I mean,
Well,
for
Lisa-
me,
Or
the
Lisa has
answer's,
something to say.
for me, the answer's very simple, we've already taken a vote, it's deemed dangerous.
Yes.
It's gonna be removed.
Yep.
I am saying above and beyond to save a life, just for the sake of saying it and putting it out there, if there's a way we can do it, we should try to do that. We've already made the decision.
We have already made.
So
the
it is what it is.
Ms. Green, and then Mr. Stewart, I will,
So, Madam Chair, our veteran service officer, approached me today, and saw there was a dog hearing. And he had asked me about it, so I filled him in on what type of dog it was. He does know people, who work with dog rescues with these types of dogs, and he said he would be willing to reach out to the owner, to see if they, will give it up to these other folks who work with these type of dogs. So maybe we could put
and
that in the order.
that sounds great, but again,
There is a specific Malinois rescue
I'm
organization.
sure there is.
Specific to that breed.
What?
And them are the people that you need to talk to
Well,
if you're
yeah,
gonna
that
put
would
that
be
dog on
different.
rescue.
Well, we have deemed the dog dangerous, I believe
We've
that
deemed the
ties
dog
our
dangerous,
hands.
we can't ship it off anywhere, once it's not a nuisance. It's not we're saying it's a rehab, that it can be rehabbed, we've said it's dangerous.
If they were here, we could tell them that that's what they need to do, but they're not here.
Okay, Mr.
No.
Stewart had,
No, I mean, yeah.
no, you just right there, yeah.
This all, I honestly, appreciate what you all are doing here and what you're trying to do with, to save the dog essentially, right? And not punish the dog for.
I don't think we're doing that, we're actually saying that we wanna remove the dog, and, yeah.
No, I know,
Yeah.
but trying to do it in a way that the dog is not euthanized, right? Which, I appreciate what you all are doing here. I am concerned about the timing of all of this, and, our kids already, right, lost their April vacation.
Yep.
From playing with their friends, and this, if we're trying to reach out to different people to donate the dog, and when does this end, and when can we just have our neighborhood back? And
That's why I said, I think this is a slippery slope, if we start getting into trying to find somebody who's gonna rehab it, who's gonna take it, who's gonna.
But I don't think we're doing that, though. I think.
Off of the owner's
Yeah.
word.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think we're having way too many conversations that are overlapping. The dog's gonna get removed according to the timeline, because we already voted on that. I'm talking about once it's impounded, let's try to figure out if we can do that. The dog's gonna be removed right away,
Well,
according to the
I think
timeline.
Mr. Kenny's gonna
So,
speak
I
about
just
this.
wanna
Yeah.
speak on, I've done a lot of these hearings, and I've had a
Yes.
lot of weird outcomes with different towns. You're only allowed to pick from that list of
Yeah.
outcomes, right? There's not
So we don't have.
multiple options, there's not finding rescues, there's not, you are limited to those options,
Which is what
right?
I
You can
said,
pick
yeah.
like option 1, 2, 3, 4, you can pick options 1 and 3 and 5, right? But you have to pick from those lists.
Yeah.
On that, I believe the wording of the law, which I think is what you were pulling up, you can't remove the dog from the property without requiring it to be euthanized.
Yeah.
That is it.
Yeah, that's what
right?
it is.
Okay,
If
so,
the animal is removed from the property, it is euthanized. If you don't find that you need to remove it from the property, you can then instill all of those other requirements.
So we can deem it
up-
dangerous
You can
and
deem it dangerous.
leave it there?
So, yes, so
Yeah.
once the
Don't wanna
dog
do
is deemed dangerous.
muzzle all the time.
Yeah, there's
So,
7
once
options.
the dog is deemed dangerous, right, this is a two-step process, so the dog is deemed a nuisance or dangerous,
right,
right?
we already crossed
If-
that bridge.
And we crossed that bridge, so we deemed it
Yep.
dangerous. You're now required to pick from a list of options.
Right, which is what
And
we're
even if a
looking.
dog is deemed dangerous, it can remain on the property, it can remain as a
Right,
pet,
we know that, yeah,
right?
we just read
With
through all the choices. Yep.
specific requirements.
Yep, we're not,
Right,
we
those
don't,
requirements are the list, so you can choose muzzling, walking, and on a leash.
don't feel
you can-
comfortable with
Right,
those.
so you can choose
Yep.
any of those up until removal / euthanasia.
No, and I appreciate
And-
that. So
yeah,
when
so-
we get removal, my last question is, when we decide, I'm gonna make a motion to remove it. So when we do that, then we'll
Yeah,
second
yeah.
that. I think we actually already
we
did that.
did,
Yeah,
we
we
did.
did.
So when does that happen? What's the
So,
timeline?
and then we'd have to give them
Is it 7 days
time
notice or
frame,
something?
Right?
Yeah.
Is it in here?
I don't know if it's in there, I honestly don't know, council
Yeah.
might know better than me.
10 days.
But, I think it's
10
10,
days.
I think most of the time these are 10 or 30 days.
Yeah.
there's
10 days.
appeal,
If 10
right?
days.
Yeah, they have the,
Within 10
so they
days.
have the
Within 10
right to
days.
appeal,
They
in
can
which
go to
case
the
they go to
district
district court.
Yep.
And then if they go to district court, they can fight it there, and if district court finds it, then they can give him whatever.
Okay.
But we can make our
So-
ruling and have him removed, and
You can make the ruling.
that is what
and
happens.
You can give them, I don't know, I think it.
It is
It says
10
within
days.
10
It's
days.
It's 10 days, okay, so you can make the ruling for 10 days. They, as the owners, could file for an appeal.
Right. With the
Through
court.
district court, in which case they then go to court.
Okay. So can I ask a silly question then?
Yeah,
Can I say that if we do this removal, that up until the time it is removed, it is not allowed outside of the house without a muzzle?
Yeah, that was actually my
Yeah,
Oh,
question.
no,
that's
What
actually-
hap-
why can't we do that? Yeah, so
That's
they've got
actually
10
here.
days to appeal.
Yeah, it's
through
written
the
down, so you-
courts, yep.
And then it says.
Require the
that it
muzzle
can be
in the-
impounded
Not
if-
out the backyard? No, needs the muzzle.
yeah.
Yeah, and it says in here that if a dog is muzzled for more than 6 weeks, then it's an automatic removal or something like that?
If,
So-
found in violation of an order, we're issuing an order, then he can be seized and impounded right then and there.
Yeah, there's also a limit to how long you can,
Can he be
Muzzle it.
impounded for that 10 days?
We don't have a kennel. So.
We have an agreement with
we-
Lakeville, they won't
We
take
have
that?
Lakeville, I doubt they're gonna take a dog that's been deemed dangerous and is a liability to
All
have
right,
in their
fair
kennels.
enough.
and this says,
I can ask, but I can't guarantee you. We don't have a town kennel.
okay.
Someone go out and make sure that it's secure at least one more time? 'Cause
Well,
the
yeah,
rest-
Mr. Kenny is planning on doing that,
I,
yeah.
again, I can't do that without a warrant, so I can't go onto their property, even if you guys tell me
So who needs to
to.
issue the warrant, the police?
We'd have to
Probably judge.
file
Go
for
to
one through
court.
the courts.
Has to go to
And
court.
give it administrative.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right, so, what, I think Ann might have been on to something, and I'd like to see what you guys think. So, they've got 10 days to appeal through the courts. In that interim period of time, we wanna make sure that as little opportunity for this guy to do anything else is available. So I do think we should probably lower the boom and say that we do some of these other options, like the muzzle.
Yeah.
Insurance?
Why not? Muzzle,
yeah.
insurance.
You gotta do the whole thing.
Like, why don't we just throw everything? Muzzle, insurance, what else? The,
The enclosure has to be
enclosure,
secure.
and,
So I think they have, I think the way that, again, I don't have the law in front of me, but I think they have 10 days to comply to the law. So if you tell them to put up
These are 10 days.
the whole thing, right?
I mean, I think they could appeal, but I think you could do an interim measure. I think this would be okay, that you do an interim measure that says up until the date of removal for euthanasia. And I think your motion really should be specific,
Well, I
right? Because
said
you
that,
don't
yeah.
want the court to say, well, there was a procedural defect because
Yes.
did they mean to,
Yep.
remove the dog out of the town, which is no longer
Right,
appropriate,
right.
right, under the new changes. So you can say up until, the moment of appeal, they have to comply with the following 5 things. Has to remain in an enclosure at all times, has to be leashed if outside of the closure. Anytime it's outside of the home,
Has to have
including
muzzle.
within the enclosure, it's muzzled. It has to be one of those main muzzles because they need to be able
Yep.
to drink.
Yep.
I don't know what else is in the.
Yeah.
I think those are the
Yeah,
things
Yeah,
that
no,
we
it's
talked
all-
about.
Yeah.
So, well, I will entertain that motion.
I absolutely moved, so.
Well, yeah, but we're
I
tweaking the
am
motion. Yep.
tweaking the motion along with euthanasia, the whole 9 yards,
Okay,
all of it.
all right.
Second.
Madam Chair,
I'm sorry.
Oh,
can you restate
guess
the
somebody else.
motion?
I was doing my other job.
If you're gonna, if you.
I move that the dog is.
Muzzled.
He's muzzled, he's enclosed, he's on a 6-foot leash if he's outside of the enclosure for any reason at all,
He's insured.
and he's insured, and that he's removed pending euthanasia.
And do we need to say the muzzle is outside of the physical enclosure of the house, not the fence? Because the fence
Muzzled
obviously isn't
when
working.
out, well, muzzled, period.
Muzzled,
because
but you're saying muzzled
he
in the
gets out.
house?
Muzzled all the time
No,
because he
muzzled,
gets
muzzled all
out.
day.
Okay,
Muzzled 20,
okay.
muzzled 24/7.
Okay.
Unfortunately.
Which I don't know if we can muzzle it 24/7 because they do have to eat and.
No, I
They have
don't,
to
I mean, however you have to word it,
Yeah.
I mean,
If he's
like-
on a concrete pad, like he's talking about, a concrete pad with the fence it's in the concrete, this dog ain't getting out of there. Unless
Right,
he's,
but they're not doing that
unless it
tomorrow.
knows how, unless it has a key to get out and
No,
it
it's
can
true,
pick
but
the
it's
lock.
gonna take a while for them to do that, so in between. we're
Well, they
gonna-
could get that done quick enough. If they
If
want the
they
dog,
wanted
they could
to.
get that done quick enough.
And the thing is, I know we all feel badly, myself included,
Horrible.
about this. However, I will say that if this owner is responsible and really committed to this, they can appeal it to the court. And they can make a case that they're gonna send it to rehab, or they're gonna get a breed-specific rescue, or whatever those options are that we discussed, but those aren't ours to pursue.
Right.
Okay.
So-
Yeah, I feel like the issue today is that it's deemed dangerous.
Yep, we already did
We're
that.
making, so
Yep.
whatever happens during that, we can deal with the appeal if there's an appeal.
Yep.
If there's-
But right now, we just gotta make sure that between now and then, and I'm assuming that there's no like continuance, like if, what I'm used to is going, having a court date and then having it continued for 6 months and then continue for another 6 months and then.
It's court, so I don't.
Yeah, no, exactly,
Yeah,
so
it might
I don't
be-
want that to happen to you guys, so the idea for me is right now, from
Yeah.
point A to point B, how do we make sure that we keep it safe, and the way we do that is muzzling, insurance, all that stuff, so muzzle it
Yep. Mr. Stewart?
whenever.
Who monitors this?
Just a.
That is my question. This owner has proven over and over again that they are not able to contain a dog. So, we're talking about all these sort of interim containment measures to
Well-
account for the fact that we don't have a kennel available, so.
And unfortunately, they
Even
have
if we
10
had a
days to
kennel
appeal.
available, nobody's gonna take a dangerous dog. They get that's why they get euthanized. There's no kennel that's gonna take a dangerous dog.
So if we're, if they do appeal it, now, what does that mean for us? Like, that can take months and months and months,
We're following the letter of the law.
Yeah.
The most we can do is to order what we're talking about doing, and from there, we've done what we're able to legally do, and then they've got legal remedies available to them under the court, which we cannot remove from them.
And we also, this is a precedent for us too as a board, because this is the first time we've ever
Yes.
gone this far with this.
It is.
So we're learning as we go in full transparency, so we're trying to take as immediate of steps as humanly possible to keep everybody safe. So we don't know, we have no idea.
It just seems like, if we had a kennel in this town, we wouldn't be still having this discussion, right? Like, the dog would get removed to the kennel.
Yeah, not for nothing, they've tried to get kennels in the town, and we haven't funded it. I mean, the
town
town
hasn't
administrator
funded
and the animal control officer has tried to fund this in previous town meetings, and we didn't fund that. So they've tried to solve the problem.
I guess my concern is, over the next, however long this takes, what are we doing with our kids in the neighborhood? And what are we?
I understand what you're saying, but you appreciate, we have limits. We're taking it as far as we possibly can, sir. And we're taking it, like, as Mr. Weeks said, we've never taken this step before. We've always said, work with the dog, try to rehabilitate,
I've done this
da-da-da.
for 3 towns for
You know.
like 9, 10 years, something like that. And I've done a lot of hearings. This is the most any of them have done, right? In most of, trying to put you guys at ease too. In most of these, you're walking out of here with a dog that's gonna be walked on a leash with a muzzle. And in some of them, maybe put in a kennel, right? That's where you're at. What these do is there is some significant fines associated with them not having that. So if the dog is loose or something, there's like, I think it's $500. I've never issued one for it. But if the dog was to be out at those times, it's up to you guys as neighbors to call in and let that be known, right? Call the police, call animal control, and they can get significant fines for this up until then.
But also to the question of who's monitoring the
So-
compliance with the
Yeah,
order.
so as far as the order goes, from my limited legal aspects, I'm not a legal person, but I believe you guys give them the order, and then we'd have to apply to take the dog by eminent domain, and then that's what would happen. So if they
But how do we
didn't,
make
if
sure
they
it's
didn't get it
in the
done,
interim that it's muzzled and
So,
da-da-da-da-da?
I don't live in their house,
Yeah.
so I can't do that, right?
You have to give the notice and you hope that people comply. Like, people violate the law all the time, right?
Yeah.
You drunk drive, you murder someone, you do all those things, right? They're all against the law. So here you issued a notice of your order, outlining the requirements that they are required to abide by, and they fail to do so, they get, ticketed, or if it becomes too much, I mean, we could consider other things, but the reality is we find out in 10 days if they.
Is it possible if we can find some, like, if we have to force the issue, if this happens again, because I'm just concerned about how frequently, the dogs are getting out, but also that people have to like scream in the middle of the street in order for the owners to even know the dog's out, which is a huge, huge issue. Is there any way that we can, if that happens again, take the dog, find a mandatory place to put it, and then, because I know just from previous conversations with actually both of you, that there's like a daily, and it's pretty substantial fee for all this stuff, that we tack that fee onto the person, fine them for that, so that there has to be some type of boarding fee somewhere. Because I don't think I'm speaking out of turn, like, up until, I think, last year or something, like, they were literally just all going to your house. Like,
Yeah,
so
no, they were,
you
so.
were doing it, so like, you were going
Yeah.
way above and beyond, like, you're one of those, like, saintly, animal control officers, like, putting all these animals in your house. That's not gonna be the case for something like this, no one would.
Yeah, it must-
Yeah, and we've tried to fund a kennel in town for this exact reason, so can we find something that if this dog gets out again, for God forbid it happens again, that we can, is there any mechanism to force it somewhere and find the family, whatever we need to?
We contract with Lakeville. Lakeville has the right to say no, right? So we could ask that. I can't guarantee that they will take it.
Yeah.
There is maybe some kennels that you could get to take the dog and you could pay their daily fees.
Yeah.
And they would have the right to propose that, but the town is forcing it, so that would fall on the town until they're found and gone through court. So at that point, you may be looking at that dog sitting in like you guys said, it's the courts, right? I don't know if the court takes 3, 6, 8, 10 months, right? You're paying a daily fee, which a lot of them are close to $200 a day.
Yeah.
To house a dog, and then you're gonna have to go back, and then
Try to get that
probably
money.
you
Yeah, we have to recoup the
try to
money,
fight
which-
to get that
No,
money
which will-
back. I try to be as logical as I
No,
can with
we've
these
had
things.
problems
Yeah.
getting
And-
kennel
No.
fees from people.
I
We've
just-
had problems
Oh, yeah.
getting
Yeah.
that.
No, it's
It's
almost impossible, I just care about just giving us the facts, like the rundown.
Right,
Like,
I try to
your
give you very
opinion
open
matters.
with it,
Yeah.
so that's the reality, so if we do that, and we take that dog and they fight it, we're sitting with a compiling bill,
Yeah.
right?
That it's on us
And
until
it's on us until the owner, cause somebody's gotta pay the kennel, right?
Yeah.
And it's a lot of liability
I
on the
was
kennel,
just gonna say
right?
that, yeah.
So they have employees, if, I get this, I know you guys have kids too, right? But like, there's the 17-year-old kid that goes to high school and comes and works at the dog kennel after school, right? Most kennels don't wanna put their employees in those risks,
Yeah, no, it makes sense.
so,
And I wasn't here for the beginning, the actual testimony, so I don't know how the dog was escaping, if he was escaping from
Was
the
digging
home.
underneath.
Yeah.
Underneath the fence.
Well,
So
Yeah.
while outside,
Yeah.
so digging underneath the fence, so there is a possibility that, so you need an administrative search warrant to go on someone's property without their consent, but if you go with a notice and say, listen, in the interim, I'd like to work with you
yeah. In
to
most
find
of
the-
these, like you said, so in most of these, it's hard because the family isn't here to represent themselves.
Yeah.
Right? Most of these, we come to an agreement and it said, hey, yeah, I'll come out in the next 2 days, or when is the next day you have available? Right? I've gone out, literally left these and gone, drove to their house and checked out what they've changed, right? I can't speak for someone that's not here, so I can't say that they'd be okay with that. I can't say one way or the
But we
other.
can make the attempt.
Right, we can make the attempt, we can attempt to go out there, but they have 10 days to comply with putting a kennel and putting
We
a
would
flag
ask
in.
that you,
That's,
we would
yeah.
ask that you try to work with them
Yeah.
on getting that, done. We have a motion. I
Yep.
don't remember if we have a second on the full
I
revised
seconded
motion.
it. I
Okay.
seconded
So with that, I will take a vote. All in favor of, taking the measures that Mrs. Rain articulated, which was, the enclosure, the muzzling, the leash, and all of that. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Anything further? Okay.
I got one comment.
Yeah.
I know it's no consolation, but I train my dog every single day. There isn't a day go by, I think I trained him three different times today. I know everybody likes to walk their dog. You throw your dog on a leash, and you shouldn't have a problem with some crazy Mally that's gonna come up and attack. You might wanna consider getting yourself a can of bear spray. I carry it. My dog is off leash all the time. In fact, I trained up at the field today with a lady that was on the other side of the field. She had a German Shepherd. I got a Chessie. No problems at all. Both dogs off leash, no worries. But I carry a can of bear spray,
I do too.
just in case.
Yep.
If you
Well,
had
I'm
that,
at
like,
Burridge,
if you
so-
had that beer
Yeah.
spray, not that you should have to carry it, but if you did have it, and you got a dog that's coming, because I've been in the Burridge, and people
Yeah.
let their dogs run loose in the Burridge, and they're not
He's
supposed to.
friendly, he's so
Oh, yeah,
friendly,
yeah, the
oh,
next
okay,
thing you know.
great, yeah.
Yep, but if you have that can of beer spray, believe me, that will knock any dog down.
That's a good question.
I know.
And
Okay.
can I just say
Okay.
one other thing about this?
I'm trying to
You're-
wrap up the
I
hearing.
know, but you're gonna,
Okay,
you,
yeah.
you do still have those other 3 dogs in the house. That's what I think he's giving you good advice, just in case.
Just in case, I'm
One
not
of those
telling you
other
to,
dogs
I'm
gets
not
out.
telling you to go out there and spray the dog
No.
if you see him, but just in case.
Yeah.
You know, until we get this solved, until this is all finished up. Believe me, we're on your side.
All right, we've got to put a bow on this. Mrs. Bray.
Thank you. Thank you all for your votes. I really appreciate it. I think a couple of questions I had, and thank you for the tip about the bear spray. The only thing is, the kids can't use the bear
No.
spray,
No,
right?
no,
So
they
that's
can't.
the thing. So
Right.
I think when they're going to their friend's house, they
Right.
can't.
I'm saying while I'm just saying it's something for you while you're walking your dog.
For other dogs, but I think, but my other question would be, if these owners, if they did appeal and they do seek the court, like, appeal process, would then.
I don't think they're gonna, they're not even here to even talk to us, so why would they appeal, you know what I mean?
Notified then, and then could we be notified that they have appealed it? Cause like, how would we?
Mr. Kenny?
Yeah.
I have no idea.
How could they be notified?
I believe the
dog owner-
town would be notified.
The town is
Yeah,
certainly
we're
notified
definitely
because, my people, not me, but go into the court and defend these cases all the time. So our obligation as town council, if we're so authorized by the board, it sounds like we would be, represent the board at that hearing to defend their decision. All right?
Yeah.
So,
And I think we could definitely
There's a
reach out to you,
courtesy
Mrs. Bray. You were the person who initially, and then you seem to have been able to organize and connect with everybody. We could let you know that,
and frankly, you all would be the witnesses.
yeah,
Because
Yeah.
we wouldn't be able to put on evidence without your testimony.
right.
And I know, like, past history, and I know this is contained to this dog, but the other dogs are an issue, right? And there's a history, they've gone on my lawn, 2 doors down, they've come into my house when my garage
Then you need to
doors are
call,
open.
and we need to document them, and if we have to have a hearing for those dogs, then we will. But the hearing for tonight is about this particular dog. So I will entertain a motion to close the hearing.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, great. All right, thank you. I know it's not immediate removal, which you guys were looking for, and I appreciate that, but we've taken it as far as we can, and we will continue to support you and communicate with you. And we just ask the same. Okay, thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you. This is why I decided to be a-
No, I know. I know we're doing the right thing, but it feels lousy.
But
Okay, so with that, we're gonna just pivot
I see my
and transition to, annual town meeting preview,
Yes.
which is gonna be a
Oh,
cakewalk
that's gonna
compared
be-
to this.
yeah.
Okay.
Do we have to go through every single one again?
Well, we're just gonna walk through, we'll see. Mr. Keely, what is your thought process on how to proceed? You don't wanna read each one, right?
No.
Okay. Why don't we hear from our Chair of FinCom, some insights, some thoughts, any pitfalls for the unwary, concerns, and then we can, take it from there. Thank you, Lieutenant Daley, we appreciate it. Good
evening.
Good evening, thank you for joining us and staying for the duration, we appreciate it.
thought I'd be missing out on it.
Yep.
You're sitting so far away, I can't see you over there.
Obviously, you've all gone through and seen the FinCom recommendations.
Yes.
This year was an incredibly tight year. We had to use almost $2 million in free cash to balance the budget. By and large, we found the easiest thing to do and the most beneficial to the town was we left all the department head recommendations in place. We reduced the reserve fund by, I think, $20,000 to balance the budget. So a combination of reduction in the reserve fund for next year, free cash, sets us up with a balanced budget for next year. That could change, right? We've gotta lock down the budget article first, because once we do, all the free cash is gone and nothing else can be done but what we've approved in this. And I don't think we approved one line item, and I think it might have been for sprinklers in the town hall.
Yes.
Something to do with that we recommended.
Yeah.
So that was the only one we recommended the use of free cash with. So it's really imperative that we do not change the town's budget. There's no free cash left. There's none, zero, no holdovers, nothing. So we're incredibly tight. This should be one we just, everyone approves.
Try to stay the course.
Tries to stay the course. I know everyone gets their little pet projects with parks and fields or libraries, or people think they're being, altruistic and giving more money, but anything, I think, Eric, what did we say, there's like $1,700 left maybe?
Yes.
Maybe?
Yes.
Maybe?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So any sort of variation by anyone on town meeting floor is gonna throw this into chaos.
Okay.
I don't even know if we'll be able to proceed, because we'd have to go back and make individual cuts on the individual departments. One thing, Eric, I don't know if you wanna talk about the CCTV.
Oh, yeah, I was gonna ask you, I know Chief Casey mentioned to me that he had a conversation with you about the CCTV.
So we had a conversation, town accountant, Chief Case, and myself. We believe we have a funding mechanism to fund the CCTVs with the remainder of the reserve fund for this year and leftover budget line items that may not be fully expended.
So we won't be using stabilization.
I would definitely not recommend using stabilization. I would recommend that you pass over, withdraw it, whatever you have to
Yep.
do, but don't allow it to come to a vote.
Okay.
Because we don't have the money from it. We're
And
facing some.
So that's gonna be in the October town meeting that we're gonna be
No.
funding, this
No,
town
we
meeting?
would- We would do it at the end of this year with money left over in the budget.
Okay, but we don't need this article in order to do that?
Correct.
Okay,
Do not
that's,
need the
that's fine. So the chief assured me that he has got this in hand and that he only needs to do one part of it and not another part. He's got the money for one part, and I wish he was here so he could explain it more eloquently than I am, but, so we'll plan on, Mr. Keely, if you could just earmark, passing over that CCT.
And that's Article
Yep,
Article
yep,
eight.
yep.
In the annual.
It's already in
Yep.
there, so move,
Yep.
pass over.
And I
Oh, it's already.
The motion's already there.
And I just want to clarify, as far as the free cash, that the amount that you talked about being left, the small amount, that's after the special town meeting.
Correct. If all the recommendations pass, that's what we'll end up doing.
Yep.
And I was going to ask Kate, this hasn't been my practice in the past, but I could announce at the beginning of the meeting that any amendment to increase a line would be ruled out of order. Could I do that?
You make every decision on scope, Sean. I defer to the moderator. I mean, that's completely outside of my scope, but, you know, you can say, especially, so I think it would be, I would support you in that position if there's been some public discussion, which is happening right now, about the fact that the free cash is so minimal that any increase might have triggered people to come out to town meeting in a way that they wouldn't have because they've heard the admonitions from tonight, right? So,
Yeah, because in my opinion, this is an extraordinary time.
yeah.
I've entertained those motions in the past, but we've had some cushion.
Yeah.
And we just don't have that. And I do not want to reopen other lines in order to try and.
No, it's a Rubik's Cube trying to.
Yeah,
So
that's not happening.
I'm wondering if maybe both of you could state your positions, you know, if Mr. Sullivan, you know, gives his cheerful news that he always starts us off with, about the optimistic view of our town finances, and then maybe you could, that might be, you know,
Yeah.
but I'll defer to you on that.
But this is sufficient notice?
Yeah, I mean, it's a public discussion, people are watching at home, you could even post something on the website, something like that. The other tactical thing you could consider, and I don't know if this might throw everything into chaos, and I prefer not to do that at town meeting, even though it seems to happen regardless, is you can always open the special, recess back to the annual without having resolved the special, and then once the omnibus goes through, go back to the special. But I mean, this is then getting into a lot of procedure, which might be like,
Then conspiracy theories will ensue.
Oh.
I don't believe that will be,
I think
yeah,
if we go through the special, there's not that much in the special.
no,
yeah.
yeah,
And those bills have to be.
They have to be paid, and
Yeah.
we've allocated,
yeah.
and we've accounted for those
Yeah.
in our process. So once we get to the actual budget, which I think is Article 5, and we pass it, everything else containing money is afterwards, so it's already gone. We contemplated putting some sort of
That's true.
PowerPoint on the big screen that shows the money tick away like we do your tax.
It'd be like a reverse telethon.
We could do like a thermometer, like they have for dollars for
Yeah,
straws.
H&R Block.
Dollars down,
Yeah,
so.
Yep.
do the old H&R Block ticker.
That's true, I didn't realize that it's $600 for prior bills and then the money for snow and ice, which are, they're legal obligations.
Yeah, they are, yep.
Yeah, sorry.
So I'll
Yeah.
do the special as I've always done it, and then we'll go into the annual, but I'll make the announcement right at the very beginning. Yeah, and perhaps we can put something on the website. You know, and if anybody has a concern, I'm around.
So that will be that there will be no amendments entertained.
Yeah, I'm going to rule all amendments increasing line items out of order due to scope.
Okay.
Okay. Is there anything else? We've been through this multiple times, and the board would be very enthusiastic about going through it again if people feel compelled to do so. Were there any other, you know, concerns or articles that, you know, obviously we'll get the big ones that people are gonna be concerned about?
I'd like to just quickly go over how we're going to handle 4 and 5, because one is with the override and one is without. Is that how this is proceeding?
Article 4 is the budget.
Yeah,
Article 5 is the override.
okay,
So the
Yep.
budget was presented prior to the override,
so,
strategically.
so under 4, I'm trying to remember how we've done this in the past. Should I mean, there's only 2 lines that are contingent on the override, right?
But that's not happening yet. That's not happening yet. So you're gonna do your same holds on number 4, which is the regular budget.
Right.
And then it approves in its, I guess.
Foundational.
Yeah, the foundation. And then 4 is only the delta, the increase. It's not modifying the,
You mean 5? If-
excuse me,
right.
5, yes,
So,
exactly.
if people vote for that, then it's up to the town, and then if the town votes in favor, then it's automatic.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
that's right, it just becomes,
Just so I can
it
explain.
only,
So the
it's
budget's
like a
foundational this year. There's no,
condition precedent.
it's not like in the past years where we've done the two columns.
Right,
There's
yeah,
only one
that's what I
column.
was worried about.
Yeah.
And I was,
Column this year.
and seeing just 2 lines, I was like, there's gotta be an easier way to, this is easier. Okay, good. The other one, the other question I had was, I'm aware that, and I've given permission to give some presentations at town meeting. I know the library has asked, to have one, and I believe,
Highway.
Highway
Yep.
has one. Are there any other presentations people are aware of?
No, I mean, I'm
Is
not
the
sure.
Is the police or
Well, that's
fire?
what I was just gonna say, I'm not sure.
No.
Public
No.
safety, no.
I mean, we'll speak on the override when questions are asked.
Yeah, I don't, you're not gonna do
We're
a dog
doing
and pony
presentations
show
now.
just to get down to brass tacks type of, okay, yeah.
And Lisa, just so I can mark it quickly, I mean, which articles are the library and the highway?
So, actually, so we've got library, highway is Article 27.
Yep.
Library is Article 33 or 32, it's 32.
This is presentation,
Mhm.
and who's presenting to the highway?
I think, it's probably gonna be a combination of Richard Jasmine, Carol Jensen, and then Tony DeFrias. So, and I know that sounds like it will be a long presentation, but they're kinda polishing up their act. They've been doing informational forums, so I think they can do it in, quick stead and get the information people need.
And do you know if Karen will be doing the presentation at the library?
I don't know if it will be Karen or if it will be Teresa Santalucia or Corinne Cafardo, but it most likely will be Karen. That's who they've had do it in the past,
Okay.
so, yeah. Perhaps Dan Pilata, who's also working with them as a consultant, I'm not sure.
Okay. Were there any, was there anything you'd like me to emphasize at different articles?
No, but at the end of the, town meeting, I'm hoping that you can, of course, encourage people to show up at the election. And I do think that we need to mention something about what the South Shore Voc Tech ballot question is, because if there's nowhere in here that people are gonna be educated, that, guess what? We have a bill to pay, and if we don't pass the debt exclusion for South Shore Voc Tech, we still have a bill to pay, and we'll have to eviscerate everything else in order to pay it.
How do we put that? Because that's a big one, that's huge.
Can you guys do a handout?
We could do a handout, but I think also if you could verbally say, but I mean, we could probably, Lisa, I think our office could work on something. I know Mr. Hickey, the superintendent, had indicated he would support us, and I think he even gave us some facts to incorporate into something, so.
You know, the other thing is, besides a handout, if one of you were to hold the South Shore VOTEC line during the budget and just say something, fairly briefly, it seems like an appropriate time to put everybody on notice that, we have another bill coming due besides what is going to be budgeted.
You don't think that will muddy the waters, that
It
that's
might
the,
be risky.
the operational?
You think it's risky?
Yeah,
Because then maybe people think, well, I don't wanna pay that, and so I'm gonna vote to, make a motion to amend to reduce it, not knowing that this is now an
Okay, fair enough.
obligation.
yeah.
I'm a little wary of it.
I just thought it could be a little parting salvo, like reminding people to go to the polls, which you're gonna do anyway, you always do.
Yeah, I'll do it at the beginning of the end of
Yeah.
the meeting, but problem is everybody's leaving when I'm speaking at the end of the meeting.
Yeah, yes.
You gotta learn some more show tunes.
I know.
You know?
I gotta keep them in their seats.
Yep, our town clerk has a question.
Oh,
Articles 31 and 33
Yeah.
have to do with the land. They require a 2/3 vote. Gene and I were okay, let me double check.
oh, this is the designation?
Yeah.
So funny, I actually just looked at that myself, to see, cause I think it might be 2/3, because it's almost like a disposition, but, I wanted to see one thing, no, okay. I will have that answer for you well ahead of town meeting. And I noticed there were a couple of 2/3 that, I think they're printed in the warrant correctly with the vote noted, but like, there were a couple borrowings in there, which it wasn't noted on the vote, but I'll talk to Sean about to make sure because he has to announce it. So,
I know. Sorry,
maybe
Joe.
the
No, it's
three
fine,
of us
it's
can
fine.
sit
I'm gonna leave
after
this here,
this
okay?
meeting and go through that.
Oh, he's gonna go.
So I wasn't 100% sure, because we're not really conveying the property, and especially the ones where it's not to conservation, that creates another layer of protection for the property, but the other ones where it was like, they can use it for, I think, was it for the library, or?
Yeah, one was 3 acres around the perimeter of the existing library, and the other was, again, it's sort of like putting a pin in it. And then the other one was fire/senior center, to the extent they decide to do something, they wanna make sure that that property doesn't get developed.
And from a legal perspective, that's considered, both of those two uses are general municipal uses. You know,
So it's not a take, it's not like a,
yeah,
yeah.
it's not really
Yeah.
converting it,
Yeah.
it's sort of just being like, well, this is what we wanna do, you know what I mean? So.
But it's more than that, because it's not merely aspirational, you're asking for a vote.
Yeah, I guess so, I don't know how binding it is, to be
Yeah, okay,
perfectly
okay.
honest. You know, I'd have to really think about that, but the conservation one, I'm pretty confident is 2/3, because that's converting from general municipal to something with Article 97 protection, but I'm gonna double check all 3.
Were there any other articles, Ms. Green, that you were concerned about, or had any questions about, or?
Yeah, there were a couple, there is 2. So the first one is Article, let's get to it. Okay, so Article 10 is, the raise and appropriate, I'm sorry, no, it's Article 11, is to raise and appropriate the following sums of money to operate the water department. So there's a Scrivener's error in that, in the top box under estimated revenues. It has user fees, and the amount, it's 1,951,774. But then when you, under total budget revenues, it's a Scrivener, it's listed as 1,951,744.
Oh, yeah.
So it should be 774. So I did, in the motion, I wasn't sure exactly how to word it, John, but in the motion,
I'm sorry, which article, Lisa?
Article 11.
Article 11.
11.
Yep.
Yeah, so, Kate, if you could look at the motion, I did word in the motion, towards the end of the motion, before the explanation of a note of the Scrivener's error, and then what it really should be.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so that is noted in there. And this got through, I don't know how many pairs of eyes, and nobody picked up on it. And I forget who the person was that picked up on it. Actually, Laura, it was you who picked up on it. And, yeah, so
I
through
must have been on the
AI,
game in that
your
moment.
AI picked up
Oh,
on it.
that, right, yeah. the
Yeah,
AI,
so it
yeah.
went through all human eyes, and it was AI that picked it up.
I ran through AI, yeah.
You would?
Yeah. So if you just want to make sure that the motion is worded correctly, like I said, I just noted it at the very end, before the explanation on it. So that's number 11.
What was the other article? Well, and, you know, one of the things I had said to Lisa is, you know, going forward, we need to be careful, of course, but, we ought to think about the ways in which AI could be our friend in this process.
Oh, yeah.
That's true.
Yes.
It is a good editor, it's a
So
good,
I
yeah.
probably, Lisa, will do, because I didn't get these, I think you sent the motions to me yesterday or something.
You got them yesterday, yeah.
Yeah, so I probably am gonna go through and just make some things a little bit different, like instead of saying the following sums, I'm gonna say as printed in the warrant, because we're not listing those sums, so I'll just make nothing really mind-numbing, but just a couple tweaks here and there.
Yeah, so that's just, you know, just wanted to, make a note of on
Yeah.
that. Actually, and the second one was in the special, and it had to do with the snow and ice. But after I spoke with our town accountant about it, it was Article 2 in the special. You know, we have in the actual article, 620,000, to cover the snow and ice, but after speaking with our town accountant, the board, where it approved the line item transfers, in the motion has the correct amount, which actually is 260,000. Is that the right amount?
Yeah,
Yeah, so we're not transposing the numbers, that's really after the line item transfers of what the leftover amount is. And it just looks like the numbers were transposed, but they're not. So just to bring that, so nobody thinks, oh, it should be
600.
It should be 260.
Yeah.
But no, it's really, it starts at 620, after the line item transfers, it ends up as 260. So just to clarify that.
Are people gonna, and you're gonna mention that, so that people will
Yeah,
understand
it'll
it
be
when I
in
look
there.
in the books?
It's in the motion as the 260,
Okay,
yes.
I'll announce it.
Yes.
Can we make it $258,000? Believe it or not, we don't have the 260, and 258 will work with those line item transfers.
Okay, so we'll update the motion to the 258. I thought after with everything, it was at
Yeah.
260, but now
So I think I
we're,
gave you that over the weekend.
So he needs a new motion?
so we'll update the motion to the 258.
I'm just adjusting.
Yeah.
You, okay.
So it's 258 even?
Yes.
Okay.
You don't have that 2,000?
No, we have, I told you how thin the margins were. We're not playing fast and loose here.
Oh, we got.
Ed. What are you giving me a jaundice eye?
Wow.
And just on Articles 19, which is, the fire engine, Article 27, which is the highway, and then Article 33, is it 33 or 32, which is the library. The motions were drafted by bond counsel.
Oh, yeah.
So they are long, but they were drafted by bond counsel, and that's representative of what you have for the motion. So I just wanted to point that out as well.
Thank you.
And that's all, those are the only ones that I wanted
Anything
to
else?
point out.
Excuse me. Any parting words of encouragement?
None.
No, okay.
Start doing the override dance for next year.
Oh, boy. Don't,
May the force be with you.
don't rabble rouse. One thing I did, mention to Ms. Green,
I'm sorry.
is that we need to be aware, that there is a movement afoot, regarding non-mandated busing, with the, Whitman Finance Committee and, Whitman Select Board, and to the degree to which, the non-mandated busing piece is not approved, they have gotten an opinion from, council that effectively means the entire school budget was not adopted, which would then put us into the sending it back to both of the towns to take a look at, which would mean we'd have to have another, need to have another, meeting. Which I'm hoping to God we can avoid, because it's costly and it's ridiculous for, this type of a thing. It's not huge dollar amounts. But I just thought I'd mention it because I want us to be thinking, okay, if we get word back that Whitman, because Whitman's FinCom 7-1 voted, that they were not to eliminate the non-mandated busing line from the budget.
Yeah,
If they do.
but that doesn't make the school committee's vote invalid.
No, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm
Oh.
saying is, it effectively makes them, it means that Whitman is not adopting the school's budget.
Oh, they're
And they're sending
adopting
it
reduced
back.
budget.
So they're
Okay.
basically rejecting the budget, sending it back,
Got
which
it.
means we get into the whole timing that we got into before, where they send it back, the school committee reconsiders, they say, we're gonna come down on this, non-mandated busing, or we're gonna find it, yes, Mr. Kincher.
I think Hanson will probably be in good shape, because if Hanson votes the budget as is, we'll have enough of appropriation, to cover the budget. If it goes back and they go back, they won't add to it. The only
Because
problem-
they can't add to it, right? They can only,
No, they can add to it.
so that's the problem.
The only way we wouldn't have to go back is if they increase our assessment
Yeah.
beyond what it's already at.
That's,
And that's where the devil in the details is.
but it does give, they do have an
because
opportunity to come back.
They've
now.
got, Whitman has got a problem with the way that the non-mandated costs are being apportioned. So they're pushing for the school committee to reconsider how they're apportioning those costs to each one of the towns. And of course, they're not encouraging Hanson's share to go down. They want Hanson's share to increase, and they want Whitman's to go down. And there's a host of arguments and formulas and all of that. But the main reason I'm mentioning this is the school committee voted one methodology of non-mandated busing, which has been the way that we've been doing it forever. And now we've got Whitman FinCom and the Whitman Selectmen saying, already saying, we're rejecting, like, they've already cut the non-mandated busing line from the budget. So they've effectively already set in motion the fact that, or I should say at least FinCom has, I don't know where the select board are gonna land. So it may end up getting sent back to the school committee.
And I guess you have to find out, and every town's a little bit different because it depends what authority they give to their finance committee, right? So under the law, the finance committee doesn't present the budget. The finance committee recommends, right? But it's the board's budget, it's the select board's budget. But some communities totally cede that authority to the finance committee. So it could be the finance committee voted that, but the select board pushes its own budget.
I'm not sure the select board's gonna take a different path.
I see.
Seems like this is another good reason to get rid of the school district.
Thank you,
100%.
thank you. But the
Yeah.
problem is, then
They're
we have
just
to
not a
come,
good
we
partner.
have to come up with the money for all of the,
I
you
think
know,
we should do
all of
it.
the.
I think we should do it no matter what it takes. We gotta get out of this.
Well, okay, but
Yeah.
we're not,
That's not
we're not
the
posted to
discussion for
discuss
today.
that.
No, we're not supposed to discuss it, but you're right.
I,
Especially with us not
you
having
hear
equal
that nobody's,
representation.
but we're gonna hope that cooler heads prevail and that we don't have any last minute shenanigans that are gonna disrupt the apple cart unnecessarily. But I just wanted to kind of, just so people mentally are thinking, okay, how do we pivot if that's what happens? What do we do? I just want to make sure that we're thinking about that. So, and I'm looking at you, Mr.
Yeah,
Kincher.
I think we're gonna be all set just because, just politically speaking, Whitman wants their assessment cut. So unless they make a decision to increase Hanson's after the fact, which I think the probability is not that high that happens, so I think we'll be, but you never know.
You don't know.
You never know.
Yeah, can you start shaking some more couches?
Yeah.
Some lazy boys?
We don't have any more couches. Okay, all right, so I
Wow.
don't mean to be a Debbie Downer, but I did want to make sure that people, I didn't know if people had been following that
No.
discussion that was happening. And so,
And they're the same night as us.
they are, so it's not like we'll have advance notice and be
Yeah.
able to pivot, so, but anyway, okay, so anything else on the, town meeting warrant or special town meeting warrant? I think we're in very good shape. I appreciate everybody's diligence, because everybody's put in a lot of time and effort. And I know we say every year this is the most dire of circumstances, but this year it really is the most dire of circumstances. I've never heard anybody say we have $1,700 in free cash. That's pretty awful.
It was dire last year and it's more dire this
yeah.
year.
Yep. Okay, so, thank you so much for all of that. I think with that, we'll just, I'm gonna convene an executive session, so I think we've gotten through all of our other business. Thank you so much for hanging out for the dog hearing. With that, I will entertain a motion to adjourn to executive session. We will not be returning to open session, to conduct strategy sessions in preparation for negotiations with non-union personnel, or to conduct collective bargaining sessions, or contract negotiations with non-union personnel, fire chief, executive session pursuant to open meeting law, chapter 30A, section 21A3, to discuss strategy with respect to collective bargaining or litigation, if an open meeting may have a detrimental effect on the bargaining or the litigating position of the public body and the chair so declares. Litigation, discussions, union negotiations. An executive session pursuant to open meeting law, chapter 30A, section 21A7, to review and approve executive session minutes not to be released. I will entertain a motion to adjourn to executive session. We will not be returning to open session.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Aye.
Aye.
What did you just say?
What was that?
I was like, is this a new motion?
Pay no attention,
Okay,
pay no attention.
thank you. It's fine, David had left, but we have a quorum. It's fine, we have a quorum.